All right, I think we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay. Howdy do everyone, my name is Angie and thank you for joining me for my first live stream. I kind of can't believe that we're already here. Doing a live stream was one of my big goals and I'm glad that I'm finally able to do it. There was a lot of setbacks getting here, but we're finally here. No idea how this is gonna go since this is the first live stream. There might be some technical difficulties here and there, but we're going to try and work it out as we go. How is the volume? Can anyone tell me? I know there's not that many people in the chat right now, but, just making sure it's all set. Yeah, if any problems like technical difficulties, volume, or anything seems bad, just go ahead and say something in the chat or let me know, and I will be sure to try and fix it. I'll try my best at least. I'm not the most technically savvy. Oh, you can hear me. Good. Welcome in, welcome in. Glad to have you here. All right, now that that's out of the way, welcome everyone. Today we are going to be playing a game called Our Life Beginnings and Always. This is a dating sim by GB Patch, I believe. Links to it are in the description. This game is very unique from most dating sims I have played or any sort of romance game. We actually are going to create a character and start off as a child and grow up with our childhood friend. Now, in further DLC, there are other characters that you can date, but I do not have those, and mostly because I just plan on going after the main love interest of this game, who we can see on screen here. So, one of the big things that I've decided to do when playing this game, it is very, very unique in that we can actually create our own character. And it's very stylized. I'm gonna press no for this. We don't need an explanation. I will explain everything to you. You don't need anything but me. Got that? Anyways, so, first off, we are going to create a character. We get these paper doll characters. They don't really change throughout the story, but we can change them after each chapter. So, one of the things that you may notice as I play this game, it might be, well, okay, hold on, something's not working here. My sprites are supposed to change expressions, and instead I am just writing different, threes on here. I think my hotkeys got a little messed up. You know what? That's okay. We're gonna ignore the expressions for now. You just get to see my smiling face. So one of the things you may have noticed when it comes to this game, or any games that have character customization, is that, it might be a bit hard to try and recreate my face. I'm not gonna name any parts specifically, but there is one glaring feature that might be a bit hard to recreate in a character customization. So, for now, we're not going to make me. We are going to make a character that is similar to me, be it a AU character, shall we say. Yeah, we're just creating a character for this game to play as. So, with that being said, we can choose all sorts of things here. I think I want to go for more of the pointed face. Not like that. Square isn't bad. I kind of like square, actually. Should our character have square or round? Actually, I think I like round. I think round is cuter, especially for phase 1, since we're gonna be a kid. Skin tone. I'll try to match mine. Even though we're not playing as me, as I said. Yeah, that's fine. Eye shape. Ooh, the squinty eyes. I like that. I like having the little thing at the bottom. I think it's kind of cute. The little eyelashes at the bottom. Ooh, I like that one. It's like dough-shaped. It's cute. So we'll go with the sloped. I think like that is very adorable. And we're going with yellow eyes. Obviously, it's the correct eye color. So this is where it gets fun. I don't think we're really going to be creating anything similar to my adorable hairstyle. So we're just, we're gonna wing this. We can go with, okay, pretty long hair. That's kind of cute. I like that. Ooh, looks like the ring. Let's see here. There's some really cute ones, actually. Ooh, this is gonna be hard. I kind of like the bang style. I don't have bangs. Well, be a redhead. Why redhead? What about our character? No, purple. Hold on now. What about my character screams purple? I'm supposed to be blue. You like wavy? Okay. Let's see. There's a lot of styles, actually. Oh, I kind of like that. It looks rebellious. Bangs long. Okay, maybe. I'm trying to go through everything. Oh, we could do two-tone too. I suppose that kind of fits in a way, but again, we're not making me, so there's like a few things we can choose. Okay, I think we got through most things, so, what do you guys think? Bangs long is all I get. Blonde. Just go with blonde. So we have red hair and blonde. Okay. So bangs long and we have wavy. Is there a long and wavy? I don't remember seeing that. Let's see. That's medium though. I was gonna say that's kind of long and wavy. Pink is nice. Okay, you guys gotta agree on something. Pink and blonde. Okay, is that the agreement that we're coming to? Pink and blonde? Okay, you guys better start thinking of a name too. Since this is definitely pretty far away from me, I think you guys should think of a name. Okay. Let's see. Now that's kind of long and wavy. What do you guys think? I'll start going with the hair tone. Or no, wait, I think two-tone we have to choose the style. Hold on. Pinky is good. Let's see, do you want to do two tones or should we go with just the wavy and pink? The two-tone is nice. Let's see. We have the pink, and we could go, we could go the blonde and pink route. Or we can do the opposite, or just go with pink since everyone seems to be spamming pink now. Ooh, and the black back hair, it gets to be a different color as well. No! Tell me what you want! Pink and blonde? Should the main color be blonde? What should it be? Go with that one. Okay. I think, by the way, I think there is a little bit of a lag, so some of your messages might be a bit behind from where I am. Okay. So, the hair back color. What should we do, guys? Should we go with long hair, side tail? keep going through the list. There's some cute hairstyles here, actually. Though, like, I feel like we should have more two-tone styles. Like, it kind of seems weird that only the bangs are two-toned. I suppose not that weird. She could have just dyed a section of her bangs. Huh. Well, there is just the standard long. Of course, we are a kid, so maybe we don't have long hair yet, and then we'll, like, let it grow. I kind of like that idea. Ponytail? Well, you were the first one that commented, so ponytail it is, I guess. Let's see, let's see. Going through. Do you like ponytail 1? I kind of like ponytail 1, that side tail look. Yeah, I think that's cute. Okay, guys. We have to come up with a name. We're gonna choose she as the pronouns, but we gotta come up with a name. Now, this game kind of has a unique feature that I like, in that you can have a voice name. So, the main character of this game will actually call you by the name you choose here. Default is Jamie, which is not a bad name. I don't mind that name. But I kind of want to go with something else. What do you guys think? I mean, if we're going with a name similar to mine, my name is not on here. There is no Angie. So I can't really do anything about that. But if we were to go with one, similar, I suppose it would be Anne. However, this does not have to be me. As I said, this is our own character. This is our OC. You hear me, guys? You in the chat with me? You helped create this. It is our character now. It is us. So, be satisfied with the name that comes up. Is Pinky on there? Okay, let's find out. Let's see. We have Paige, our body, Patience, Patricia. Oh no, no Pinky. We can make that the last name though. I suppose we could also make that the first name and would just not have him voice our name either. Let's see what to go with. You guys went awfully quiet on me. I'm gonna have to pick something myself. But okay. Patrice. Do you have any? Do I have any what? Oh, Patience. Sorry, I read that wrong. Or Skyla. Skyla's a pretty name, actually. I do like that. Though I do kind of enjoy the name, Patience Pinky. It's such a stupid name. Or Pinky Patience is also pretty funny. Okay. Let's see. I think we also... Oh, we do! It does go down. Still no Pinky, though. But there is a lot more. Let's see here. Oh, the name... Is that...
Rain.
Yeah, it is. The name Rain is kind of pretty. Let's see. Rain has to do with water, too. Since, you know, I am a fish, so it fits. So I could definitely do that. Okay, there's some interesting names on here. Yeah, they apparently chose the names that they put in here based on whoever donated to the Patreon, I think. And so, Rain Sky, that's kind of pretty, yeah. So yeah, all the names were actually suggestions from people that donated to this game when it was being made. Yes, so I think we will go with Rain. And last name Sky. Okay, we could do that. Rain sky. All right, this is our character. So, we're actually not done yet. There is more. So, we're going to change the page, and now we can choose birthmarks, scars, if we have rosy cheeks or freckles. Like I said, this game is pretty in-depth. So, there's a lot of fun we can have. So, we can do... What did that... Ah. That's... You can't see it. It's like a little mole. It's right under her pink. Or we have that, or we have that across her nose. I kind of really like the mole look. Everything! So, absolutely everything. I mean, it's kind of cute. Alright, we also have scars. Are we also doing everything? Are we also doing everything? Everything everywhere? All at once? Is this the character you want? Is this our character? And we can have our hand size. And if we're wearing glasses or not. Everything. Both of you just said everything. All right, that's our character. So, do we have glasses, guys? Is that included in everything? We have multiple choices. Actually, the glasses are really cute. I kind of like that, the little librarian look. She can be all shy. Yeah, that's kind of cute, actually. I like that. You guys can yell at me if you don't like it. Maybe I'll change it. Well, I'm gonna go to the next page. All right, and then we can put everything. Oh, someone said round glasses. Let's see. I did the oval. You guys want round? We can do round. I kind of like them hanging off the nose, though. Alright. So we have birthmarks. Shall we also do everything? We can't see them. But, you know, we can be a pretty wild child and just have scars everywhere. We did a lot. Sounds about right. And we have freckles everywhere. And we also wear everything. Everything. This look right to you guys? Does this look like an accurate portrayal of our character? I have no idea what kind of child this is to have scars literally everywhere. But we must have a fun time. Alright. Okay, let's get into this. I mean, it sounds pretty accurate, right? Okay. Oh, hold on. I gotta press done. I'm just pressing change page like a moron. Okay, we're getting started. And I chose this game mostly because I need to keep talking. Oh, I'm in the way. I'm in the way, aren't I? Hold on. I'm gonna, like, woo. No. I'll, like, be over here, I guess. So I'm not so in the way. So, the reason I chose this game for my starting stream was mostly because I'm going to need to continue talking to make this interesting, so to get into practice, you guys get to hear me badly voice act this entire time. You're welcome! Okay. And with that being said, I'll start narrating. Summer in Sunset Burb was a special time of year. Your usually sleepy town began to bustle. It was a popular tourist destination, with people coming from all over to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with both. Sounds like my kind of place, personally. For those that don't know, I'm kind of obsessed with the ocean. I mean, I'm a fish, so. The smell of the ocean, crisp and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of schoolless vacation with it. During the summer, your moms didn't like you to wander too far outside of your neighborhood, so you knew the area pretty well. That included the people. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but they mostly stayed and did what your mom called putting down roots. They built businesses, they got to know each other, and they definitely said hello to the nice young kids who waved when passing their stores. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that the familiar, friendly residents waved, or asked how your family was, or most often just said hello. So, this is the interesting part. We kind of get to customize our personality as we go. So, if I hover over these, you'll notice they're all a different color. And these kind of go into your personality. So if you press certain options, you'll be shyer, and the game will register you as being shyer. Or if you choose certain options, you can be loud and rambunctious, and the game will kind of remember that. So we can actually change this as well as we go. There isn't just one way to play this. So you can start off as being pretty shy, or you can get start off the opposite and get shy. We can change as we go. We do not have to stick in one box. So with that being said, what do you guys think? Should we go with something a bit more shy, loud and rambunctious? What do you guys think? I will start playing in that style. So whatever way we go with. I suppose we are kind of like at least a child that gets scarred a lot. So we could go with something anxious immediately. I should have predicted. Go with the anxious options. Okay, alright, well that's, as a child, we're going to be the anxious child that goes around and gets hurt all the time. I guess that's why we're so anxious. So I'm not changing that now, it's locked in place. That is going to be our childhood, but later on, we can change that. Just keep that in mind. We can grow to be someone more rambunctious. That being said, let's see, you didn't really get why they always said hi. They say, saw you every day, but you nodded back at it long anyway. You were too anxious to say hi back to most of the other residents that greeted you, but they all knew you well enough to expect that. That's us. All right. They still smiled at you anyway, and that made you feel a little more comfortable. But today, there was a man sitting on the curb outside your house. He was sitting with his head in his hands, his whole body slumped over, and you wondered if he was even a real person or a statue that had magically sprung up from the ground overnight. Oh, there was some skipped things there. We'll just go to the log real fast so we can read that. Whoever or whatever he was, you had never seen him before. One thing about knowing everyone in Sunset Bird was that people who you didn't recognize really, really stood out. It was rare for tourists to venture into the residential district, as your moms called it. So, for now, not knowing who a total stranger was set up a lot of red flags. Your moms had a talk with you and your big sister Lizzie about this kind of situation before. So, again, we're choosing the anxious options, right? So, you remember that it's okay to run away if you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to worry about being polite. You weren't sure about this man yet. Whether he was nice or not, you didn't want to be bothered. I'm playing the way you want, right? I'm just gonna be shy and anxious about everything. You slowed down as you thought about how you could get around this. There was a split second where your eyes met. That wasn't good. He was probably going to say something now that he'd seen you standing around here. Hey! Oh, my impeccable voice acting skills are going to come into play. You ready? You were right. His deep voice called out to you, but you didn't say anything. Unfortunately, the man stood up and started to make his way towards you. Your whole body was frozen in place as he approached. We're a terrified little kid. Do you live around here? What's your name? Stranger danger, guys. You looked the man up and down, taking in his tan skin and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxed. The way he was acting wasn't. He had sharks on his shorts and a stingray tattoo, and you wondered if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. Same, bro. While you made your assessment, he looked at you expectantly, waiting for an answer to his question. We continue to say nothing. We just stare blankly at him, with wide eyes frozen in place, terrified, frozen in fear, like a statue, unmoving. We say nothing. If you do... He rubbed the back of his neck uncomfortably, giving you a small smile. I forgot about this. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hand as he held it up to you. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him. Well, could you do me a favor? Nothing bad. Sorry, I should have... Let me start over. He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. Okay, I just skipped something again. From where you were standing, it just made him look creepier. We do not trust this guy. We do not trust this guy at all. I have a son. His name is Cove, who's about your age. All right, we get to choose how we feel about Cove's name. Let's see. Seemed like a strange name for an actual living person. I mean, strong words coming from a girl with the name Rain. Rain Sky. You chewed on the inside of your cheek. This guy was definitely obsessed with water. Or you thought it was pretty cool. He's a little obsessed. He's a little obsessed, guys. I know chat right now is saying cool, but listen. This is my game. So, I'll ask you for your opinion sometimes. But you get to just go with my antics. So yeah, this guy's definitely obsessed with water. No, cool. He wasn't the only person like that in Sunset Bird. We moved in across the street, see? He gestured towards the house that had been empty for a year. His watch catching the late afternoon sunlight and reflecting off the walls. The gigantic for sale sign was finally gone. You must be Rain Sky, right? I met your moms earlier and they told me you were 8, just like him, so... He shook the $20 bill to bring it back to your attention, a hopeful smile tilting his lips at the corners. I'm also drinking wine today, in case, like, you guys didn't catch the stream title. I might have forgotten to mention that. So, I'm sorry if not all these words are coming out. Not that much, though, I promise. I'm being responsible. Can you try to be friends with the boy? Just give it a chance, and you can keep this. He's a good kid. You'll like him. Bribery. Hang out with my son, I'll give you a 20. That'll go over well.
Do you mind?
But you've got to keep it a secret, okay? Secret too, okay? It wouldn't be friendly to say his dad sent you. Or paid me. Did other kids really get their parents to pay for friendship? I mean, I think that's a fair question. Had your moms done that for you and Lizzie, that made you frown. Yeah, I would have trust issues. What do you say? Want to make a deal? We ran away! We run for it! We don't look back! You spun around and made a break for it! Stranger danger! street, ignoring his calls from behind you. No, take the money! Going, no, wait, hear him out. Take the money. It's cool. Just take the money. It's fine. Hey, come back. I'm sorry if I scared you. I didn't know how else to ask. The soles of your shoes slapped against the concrete sidewalk as you ran, heat from the sun warm on your face. Ah, that's a pretty scenery. Step 1, first sight. Eventually, his shouting faded into the distance. You let yourself slow down and try to catch your breath, wiping the sweat from your forehead with the back of your hand. The chirping of crickets in tall, dry grass echoed around you, and you lifted your head to survey your surroundings. You'd run right into the hills behind your house's backyard. From here, you could probably get back inside without seeing the guy again. Let's see. You would be able to hide here until he left. Then you'd go through the front door. Ooh, or we could go over the fence. We do have a lot of scars. We kind of did that for our character, so I guess we should go with the option that makes sense. Let's see, the first one was a loose plank. Let's choose the fence. Let's go over the fence. I just looked at chat. Go back and take the money. Your moms wouldn't want you doing something like that, but it was an emergency. You took in a deep breath. You wanted to try and relax, but couldn't. Oh, okay. Okay, we'll come back to that in a second. You weren't sure what, but something told you that you weren't alone, so you glanced around. There was a boy sitting at the top of the hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a little bit like you'd found a deer in the wild. Though deer didn't have... Well, I think we can say a lot of things here that deer didn't have. There's actually quite a bit of things. Sad frowns I don't think is the thing that I would look at straight. The pink cast is pretty shocking. I think the green hair is also pretty striking. I'm gonna go with the pink cast though, because it kind of like really stands out on him. But this new boy did. You wondered how he got it. After a few more seconds, you took a step forward, then another. And then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him and show you weren't scary. Hey, Space Cadets! That's a way to start this. But we already decided that we're playing as a shy person. So, let's see. I guess just a simple hi. Hi. With the start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balled into fists at his side. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts, and his eyes were still shining with a few more. You'd obviously caught him off guard. He was your age, but he didn't look familiar. Maybe he was the boy that weird new neighbor had been talking about before you ran. The only way to actually know is to ask. No, we'll wait for him to say something. We're shy. He sniffled a little, rubbing at his ruddy cheeks before he finally spoke. My name's Cove. I'm... You could see him hesitate, shifting his eyes to the side and then back to you again. My dad and me, we moved here. Your guess was confirmed. So, is this your hill? Yes. He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. I can leave if it is. Yep. It's my hill. Bye then. Oh no. Bye then. Oh no, Cove, I'm sorry. Oh, wait, you can stay. I'm not kicking you out. But you said... I don't have to make people just leave. Leave just because it's not theirs. Other people can visit. His face relaxed a little at that, and he toed the grass beneath his shoe timidly. Oh. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad, you sat on the patch of grass next to him. I just looked over at Chet. I told you to take the money, now you're talking to him and not any richer. I'm 8! I'm an 8-year-old. I don't have any concept of money. I don't understand. I should have asked for more. The pure white flowers that covered this hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers, too. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun. Why are you here? A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as you asked the question. Almost like they'd never stopped, his tears started up again with a vengeance. My parents... They don't want to live together with me anymore. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking in his dark lashes. My mom made my dad leave, and he took me with him, and now we have a house here, and I want to go back home. The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heaving with exhaustion. He sniffled and removed his glasses, wiping at his eyes with the back of his hand before he put them back on again. I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom. Just stop crying. That's a little mean. Let's see. Probably just an I'm sorry. He slipped his hands underneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelids. I can't speak all of a sudden. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. You felt bad for him being forced to come here with no choice. You couldn't imagine what it would feel like to live with only one of your moms, but it must be pretty hard. But from way off in the distance, you heard your parents. Rain!
Cove?
Kids, where did you go? Cove looked at you, tears still clinging to his cheeks. Don't tell them we're here.
I want to go home.
I don't want to go back to that house. I want to go home. Let's see. What's a good 8-year-old response here? This sounds... the shy response... Probably something like sorry we have to, or I feel like don't worry so much isn't exactly. I guess sorry I have to, or it will be okay. Chat said it will be okay, so I guess that's what we're going with. You were struck by a sudden need to reassure Cove. It's not gonna all be fun, but isn't he your family too? Yeah, I guess. Then you can count on him when you really, really need him. You shot him a grin and pushed yourself to your feet. Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? He looked towards the sound of his dad's voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm. Sorry, I still don't want to go. Try to convince him. Are you sure? You'd have to stay outside the whole night and sleep on wet grass. Before Cove could say anything else, you heard his dad's voice again, even closer than before. There you are, bud. The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all of their eyes landed on you, and they rushed over. Both of your moms were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry. Rain, you're still here after all. We had been at the park to check for Cove, and then heard what happened earlier when you met with the neighbor. I thought you might have gone off further away. Let's see. Cove didn't want to go home just yet. Mommy gave Cove a small smile, and then she turned back to you. Thank God you're both fine. Were you two having fun out here? You looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. Shrug. The last option. I'm gonna marry him. Knows what she wants. It's a young age. I'll just do, We're shy, so just, You didn't think that was the right word to describe it, but weren't sure what else to say to your moms. Finally letting go of his squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you. Thanks very much for finding him. I really don't know this neighborhood. Good thing Rain knows this whole area so well. Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for all of us. Say goodbye, Cove. Oh, that was a cute little bye. The two of them walked off into the darkness, heading towards the neighborhood. You watched Cove's bright pink cast until it disappeared. Tell you what, we'll have a proper playdate tomorrow, okay? Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? It sounds like words. Okay, we nodded, ducking your head down. Both of your moms laughed. The sounds overlapped into a warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arm around your shoulder and led you towards the path. Satisfied and more than a little ready to go to bed after your long, exciting day, you followed them home. All right, this is our next kind of fun little thing that we can do. So every step, we can decide how we feel about Cove. We're not allowed to choose love as a kid. We can choose love once we hit the teen years. But right now, we can only, get to crush level if we feel like it. Or we can just be completely indifferent towards them. Remember, Cove is the option we're going with here. And whatever we choose, Cove will feel the same way about us. So, and I also really like the option that we can choose whether we are direct, relaxed, or nervous. So that will actually change a lot of how we interact with him throughout this story. So obviously if you choose nervous but crush, you are going to be like very, very shy around him. Which I suppose we are nervous anyway, so I'm going to lock that in place. However, here is the fun part. Are we just indifferent about him? Are we fond of him? Or do we have a crush on him? This is, I would say, the the kind of more interesting idea, again, whatever we feel towards Cove, he will feel the same towards us. It always matches. There isn't a, like, oh, you have to work up towards it kind of thing. So, I'm going to give you guys a few seconds. Do you have any place you want to start, or do we just go straight to Crush? What do you guys think? I am going to take a sip of wine. I will wait for you. Okay, the first answer in is indifferent. We are going to build up the ladder slow. Sounds good, though. We're gonna start out as indifferent towards them. I'm gonna be honest, I've never played where I was indifferent. Oh, we're already nervous, don't worry about that. Our character is going to stay nervous in childhood no matter what. But we are going to be nervous and indifferent on this first one. Let's get started. And yes, once again, we won't be able to change this until we get to part 2. But with that locked away, and remember, we are trying to win Cove's heart, so that means we will have to work ourselves up to Crush in the next one. Because I don't think we can get love without going to the Crush stage first. So, as long as you guys understand that, I will start with indifferent. Here we go. Early the next morning, you were poking at your food, eating it slowly. Your sister Lizzie had run out earlier to go play, but you'd stayed put. Today, just like your moms had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. Excited to see your new friend again, Rain? Well, no, not really. I guess.
Okay.
With that said, are you done eating your breakfast? Your bowl was entirely empty, so you nodded. Good job. He should be here soon. Cleanup began, and then on cue there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure if they were in the right place. Still loud though. Okay. I skipped something. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. Rain, could you get it? Because Mom said so, you wandered over to the door. Hey, Sky family. Thanks for having us. Mr. Holden, as your moms have called him, and his son were here. Cove looked different in the bright lighting of your living room, and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him and Mom and Mommy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. You studied Cove apathetically. This was the parents' plan, not yours. Neither of you want this. Neither of you want to be here. Not seeming any more excited than you were, he just stared back. Oh, we can fidget. Oh, wait, no, we're fidgeting anyway. We are deciding what kind of bracelet we have. So we have threaded bracelet, crystal bead, flower, or shell. I'm an ocean fanatic, so shell. Do you want to go play in your room, Rain? Sure. So my room is this way.
Okay. Take care.
That little okay. Let us know if you need anything, you two. Have fun, kids.
See you.
See you later, son. Play nice. You led him to your room, puffing out your chest a little bit as at the sight of your treasures. There were lots of stuffed animals, a cool bed, a window to look out. It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. He leaned in a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. I don't. He's like trying to compliment you and you're just like, no. No. I don't like it, actually. It's the least favorite of my work. Yeah, I'm gonna choose that.
I drew it, but it's not very good. I think it is.
That's cute. You smiled slightly at him, even if it wasn't work you were pleased with. It was polite of him to say. Aw, that was a cuter interaction than I thought it was going to be. He turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and pictures on the wall. Obviously we started to feel a bit nervous, because we're always nervous. We are a walking ball of anxiety. You wanted to say something but didn't know what, so you let him keep looking. Then his eyes landed on the tiny box of beach things you've collected tucked away by your door. Sounds like me. He took a step towards it before hesitating and pointing at it instead.
What's that? A hoard of stuff I found on the beach.
Oh.
Do you have any driftwood in there?
Dragging the box into the middle of the room, you and Cove flopped down next to it.
Yeah.
You gestured. Wow, I can't speak. You gestured to a piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of sand.
Neat. This is a good collection.
You got the sense from the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice or to be like Shiloh. He actually meant it.
Shiloh's coming over.
Shiloh?
My sister's friend. He wants to, meet you.
Do I have to see him? He's so social, huh?
It'll be okay, I think. Here, I found this shell in a log and...
You pulled out seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one and holding them up against the light. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, and orange. Most of them you washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. Your voice faltered a little bit, but you kept going as best as you could. You were really proud of your shell collection, and it made you happy that Cove was interested in it too. Apparently fascinated either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like a full force of his attention. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus. Even if it was only directed at the shells. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mommy wasn't giving you much of a chance to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guessed it was because you found each other by accident, and a parent didn't make it happen. Mr. Holden must be right that telling Cove his dad was part of that would be a bad idea. Whew, that was hard to come out. All right. Before you knew it, you'd both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, ready for Shiloh's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. I brought this box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. Should have asked. That's precious, bro. Those shells mean everything to me. And at that age, they would. Trust me, they would. Sorry. Fine. What's done is done. You opened the lid, peering inside again. Cove reached in and pulled out a big orange shell. Oh. Like he hadn't spoken out loud yet, he turned to you and held it up, his eyes shining. I think this one is the best of them. Yeah, it's my favorite too. We can bond. Ooh, something just fell over. Hold on. Need to make sure that wasn't anything important. Okay. Oh, no, it was something important. Oh, dear. Oh, no. I'm ruining everything. That's fine. I kind of thought that this thing would fall over. It was one of my figures, but it was a little dubious being up there. I thought it might have a hard time. Just gonna put that to the side and we're gonna continue. Alright. Cove smiled at you and you both admired the shell together. It was a giant couch. Oh, whoops. Nope, that's not right. It was a giant conch with shades of dark and light orange. If you held it to your ear, you could particularly hear the ocean. Don't lose your wine. Oh, trust me, it wasn't the wine. It wasn't the wine. We're good. We're safe.
I found that one last summer when we went to the beach on a picnic.
The two of you were still sitting on the floor looking through your collection of beach findings when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person hadn't knocked, you figured it was probably Shiloh. He knew where to look for that.
Lizzie's friend?
You nodded, but that didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings well. You could tell what he was thinking right away.
This isn't a good idea. I'm sorry, there's nowhere to go. He's at our only door. If you go upstairs, he'll find you.
Cove glanced around the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused with his gaze locked on the back of the house.
I can go out the window.
Cove, buddy, I don't know how to say this, buddy, but you have a broken arm. Maybe it's best you don't try things like that. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's better you don't. He was already walking towards it. Cove! Cove, stop! What are you doing? What did we say? Scrambling to think of something to say, you stepped forward, then paused. Do you want to break your other arm? Oh man, my character and I are in sync right now.
Even I don't jump out of the windows here, and this is my house.
The distance from the first floor living room window wasn't far, but you could tell it made Cove nervous anyway. He touched the cast on his arm. The wind had clearly released from his sails. I don't want to break any more bones.
I don't think anyone wants to.
Yeah. But I don't want to see him. I don't know him. We'll encourage him. I know the feeling, Cove.
Trust me, you'll be okay.
Okay. Shiloh poked his head into the living room. It was impossible to know for sure if he'd heard what you were saying or not, but you guessed that he had.
Hi.
Oh, he's adorable. Oh my gosh. I forgot how cute this boy is. Look at all those freckles. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. Oh my gosh, what a cutie. Oh man. He has the little overalls. That's illegal. Alright.
Hi, Rain. And hi, Cove?
Cove shot you an uneasy glance.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Shiloh. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. You have a lot of freckles. So do I, Cove. I don't know if you noticed, but we kind of put freckles all over ourselves.
Right. I do. What are you guys doing?
We're looking at shells.
Can I do it too?
Awesome. Can I do it too?
That voice was cute too. Like his voice, not mine. My voice is BS. His voice is adorable. Cove shrugged and then looked back at your box of beach findings. What about that one? The plan for the afternoon, at least as far as you were concerned, was to sit and look at the beach things some more. Oh, whoops, double clicked, whoops. You weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else. You held out a recent find to Cove, a scallop shell that had washed up on shore. It's a pretty color, kinda like my cast. The beautiful glittering pink did look a little bit like the wrap around his arm.
Pink is a nice color.
Okay. Wow. Cove. He seems more deadpan than my character right now.
Oh?
Is it your favorite?
Not really.
Which is?
Maybe green or blue. It might be yellow.
Oh, those are all cool.
I
I
guess.
guess. Let's see. I'm just gonna stay quiet and let you guys look at the shells. You know? We're the walking ball of anxiety, right? That's just our character right now. This friendship is growing amazingly, don't you think? They seem to really, really be getting along, huh? Like usual, it didn't take long for Shiloh to get fidgety. Lizzie was his favorite. Without her around, Shiloh didn't seem to know what to do with himself. And Cove wasn't like your sister. Wow, can't speak again. He wasn't that much like you either.
Is Lizzie coming back?
Wow, Shiloh, I can see your favoritism all the way from over here. What's wrong?
You uncomfortable, buddy?
I mean, I can't tell why with this riveting conversation we've been having. You know, me staying silent the whole time and Cove just completely not going along with your conversation at all. I don't see why you would possibly be uncomfortable with this. Don't know.
Where'd she go? I think she's at the beach, probably. Is she playing at her park?
Cove's eyes lit up at the mention of the park, and he looked towards you. There's a park?
Yep, but it's old.
Can you show me? I want to go. Ah, the magic of parks when you're young. I mean, the magic of parks now. Parks are fun. He started getting up before you had even answered, and Shiloh jumped up beside him in excitement.
Really? You do too, right, Rain? The park is fun!
No, I don't enjoy anything. But that's a lie. I just said that parks were fun. So, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's right at the beach, so there's lots of fun stuff to do and lots of sand. It has a jungle gym and a bunch of swings.
That sounds like it'll be cool.
So, are we gonna find Lizzie?
I don't know. I never really wanted to see her. I just want to check the park out. Adrift without any direction, Shiloh finally turned to you. He gave up. He gave up on Cove. I kind of feel bad for him. He has nowhere to go in this conversation. Oh, whoops. Hold on. Double clicked. Okay, that's all. Sorry. He perked up. Both boys wanted to go. It was only fair. After getting permission from your moms, the three of you were ready to head out. It was a short walk to the park. Lizzie had convinced your moms that it was so short, she should always be allowed to walk there by herself. When you found her, she was hanging out at the jungle gym, swinging back and forth.
Hey, Lizzie.
Her face lit up when she saw you, her big brown eyes going wide.
Rain, Shiloh. Hi.
She dropped to the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. In a split second, Shiloh had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. The blatant favoritism. I see how it is. You were used to being left out when it was just three of you, but now Cove was here, and since we're playing indifferent to him, we also just don't care about that, huh? You weren't sure if that was an improvement. Oh my gosh.
Who's that? It's Cove. He's new.
Hi.
I remember. Hi, Cove. Welcome to my park. Nobody ever comes to play here, so this is where we get together.
She gestured widely with her arms, as if presenting the area to the newcomer. While Lizzie continued talking, You took the chance to kick off your shoes and wriggle your toes into the warm sand.
Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with the ideas.
You are?
Yeah, I am. Who else could handle the job? Lizzie is the oldest. By a lot. My mom said that you're in Rain's age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so. I'm still the only one in the group with double digits.
What about the other kids?
Other kids? There aren't any. We're the only kids here, and Shiloh's just visiting from another place. Not even tourists really bring their kids here. This is the land of ancients. Be careful about the oldies. Don't try to steal your youth.
Oh.
Oh. It's just so like, ugh. Okay, fine. For a second, it looked like he might cry again. Oh no, Cove! Okay, chat is reminding me that I should be acting nervous and anxious. I can enjoy things while I'm nervous and anxious. You can act a little out of character every once in a while. But something in his eyes shifted and he looked back at Lizzie. What kind of old people? Like moms and dads or grandparents?
Grandparents who don't have kids. They hate kids.
Why? We haven't done anything. Oh. Oh. Do you remember being that young and just going like, but why do people hate me? Oh. So you can be like, yeah, they really are bad. Only some of them don't like kids. Stop saying stuff like that. You're gonna upset him. Which one? I guess only some of them don't like kids. I'm not trying to be, like, super negative here. You interjected quickly, hoping Lizzie wouldn't take things too far. Cove sniffled, his forehead creasing with worry. Lizzie was staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't even looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care that she was there. He went into his own head. Shiloh was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation.
I met Lizzie and Rain in school. You'll see tons of kids there once summer's over.
I don't want to go to a new school. I don't want summer to end. Okay, yeah, I feel that, but, I also think we're feeling it in different ways, you know? Like, I think the reason that I never wanted summer to end might be a little different than, like, why you might not want summer to end. You might be going through something very traumatic here. Chat just said, make her stop. What am I? Make who stop? Lizzie for being, like, kind of mean? There's not much I can do there. She's my older sister. She could beat me up. Shiloh looked down at the dirt. He hasn't had much luck striking up conversations with Cove.
I like summer vacation a lot too.
He's really trying. He's trying so hard. He just wants to have a good conversation. And Cove has shot down every single conversation he's tried to have. All the building tension in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie laughed. At Shiloh's discomfort, at how weird she thought Cove was, at something else entirely you didn't really know, but she laughed, face scrunching up.
Okay.
Welcome to Sunset Birth. Oh, wait, hold on.
Welcome to Sunset Bird Cove. Take a seat, put up your feet, and get used to it.
Is right. For the rest of the summer, Cove was always there. You saw him more often than Shiloh, and on some days, when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. He became a staple of your everyday life, the way sun and lunch and the beach were. The first summer, you hadn't really been interested in him one way or another. He was just kind of a fact of life, someone you met with because he was there. Of course, that was... Wow, I am losing the ability to speak. Of course, that was only the start of things. Alright, so now we're at the part of the game where we can actually start choosing the story we go with. So I do have the DLC, so I'll get the extra stories. But, so in this part of the game, every single one of these are a new story, and then when we press and the summer ended, we will go on to the next stage of life. So, again, we are a kid right now, and pressing that, we will turn into a teenager. In the chat, no kid wants summer to end. Wine does impact speech, excuse you! Okay, we're gonna start with the first one, going shopping. And we are playing as indifferent towards Cove, as a reminder. And we will stay that way until part 2. Come back before it gets dark, alright, sport? The familiar voice drifted across the street and drew your attention. Okay, wow, maybe wine does impact speech. Alright, hold on. The familiar voice drifted across the street and drew your attention away from the snail you'd been watching inch slowly across the pavement. Cove waited in front of his dad, pushing his green hair back off his face from where the breeze was blowing it over his glasses. He looked to be paying only a mild amount of attention, and he was being handed a few slips of green paper. It reminded you of when you'd first met Mr. Holden, although he's probably not paying Cove to be friends with himself. Can you imagine? Here, can you make friends with my son? But, Dad! Okay. Cove's dad seemed to feel your gaze somehow, or maybe you made a noise, because a second later his eyes were on you. He waved you over with a smile. He looked happy to see you, but you still felt a little weird for getting caught. You've got to learn how to be more sneaky. I like how that's what our character has learned. Just like, oh man, I got caught? Need to learn how to be sneaky. I don't want to be seen by anyone. You brushed your hands together to free them of sand, then jogged over to join the two.
How's it going?
Good to see you again. What excitement are you up to today, Rain? Nothing. You toed the pavement in front of you. It would be nice to tell them about the snail you found, but you didn't know if they liked snails. After you finished answering the question, Mr. Holden's attention returned to Cove, who was preoccupied with folding the bills he had into a tiny rectangle. Sounds fun. It does? You weren't sure about that. You know, Cove was about to hit the stores by the beach. Why don't you go with him? Parents are really trying to push you guys together. You shrugged. Cove was in the process of making a similar motion. You didn't have anything else to do, and you hadn't been to the stores in a few days. Maybe there was something new to look at. Maybe. Is that okay?
I guess.
I was going to go by myself, but I guess it is. You don't have to. Great! I'm sure you guys will have loads of fun. Mr. Holden reached into his pocket and pulled out a leather wallet filled with money. You found it odd since your moms only ever seemed to have cards in theirs. Here. He leaned in to pass a crisp 10 to Cove, giving him a wink and a whisper. Get something for your friend, too. Sure.
Good kid.
That's my boy. Cove's dad ruffled his son's hair as if he was straightening back up, the bill in his hand still held out towards the green-haired boy. Take care. Cove accepted the bill after a second and slipped it into his pocket. Then, with one last nod to his dad, he turned and started walking. You followed after him, intrigued at the possibilities this outing might bring. Cove strayed towards the gentle tide creeping into the sand, and you fell into place beside him. It was a nice day, the sun was shining, and there weren't many clouds in the sky, though the wind coming off of the ocean kept it from being too hot. You took in a deep breath, enjoying the sense of salt and ocean air. When you looked at Cove, he was dragging his feet through the sand a little, and you slowed down to wait for him. His eyes searched the ground intently. Are you looking for snails? Our character really likes snails, guys. Let's see. We can just be the quiet person all game, but I do feel like that's a little boring after a while, so maybe we should just, like, you know, talk a little bit. So, I think I am going to ask if he was looking for snails. Just because. Cope looked over at you, wrinkling his nose. Who would want something like that? You felt the urge to defend the activity you'd been indulging in only a short while ago. Come on, Cove. Maybe don't be so closed-minded. Jeez.
A lot of people.
Ugh.
No way, they're weird. And you can't take them anywhere because they're bugs. You have to leave them alone. Hey, Cove, why don't you mind your own business, huh? You know, I was trying to bring my activity in here and be nice, and you're just going to, like, bad talk it to me? Seriously? Fine. You know what? I'm gonna stop liking anything you like, okay? How about that? Jerk. Cove chuckled to himself, and that ended the discussion. He can think what he wants, and you'll think your own things. The comforting sound of the waves filled the silence, with pleasant white noise, and you played a little game with yourself as you walked along, getting as close to the water as possible without getting wet. It resulted in you having to run up the sand quickly when a wave rushed in, more than a few times, and although Cove threw a few glances your way, he didn't say a word. Let's see. We didn't either, we're still mad at him. He seemed altogether too invested in the floor to be paying attention. You decided to watch the waves as they inched closer and closer to your feet instead. Oh! Abruptly, Cove stopped, and then moved briskly ahead a few steps.
What is it?
Without a word, he bent down, picking something up half buried in the sand. You hurried nearer, curiously glancing over his shoulder. It was a shell, lightly pink at the bottom and bleached white at the top.
Wow! So you found what you were looking for?
Cove got back up, turning his find over in his hand, before unbuttoning one of his many pockets of his pants and sliding it inside. I'd pick up anything that's kind of cool. This is what I got this time. Snails are cool. I'm not over it. I am clearly not over it. Cove frowned and didn't remark on your very valid inputs.
So,
What about you? What do you do out here? First one's an outright lie.
I like looking at fish! Like me! I'm a fish.
They don't like me. Oh. Other fish don't like me, or I don't like myself. Let's not read too much into that one.
They don't like me, so they always swim away if I get close. But they're pretty before that.
Cool. Starfish are fun. They aren't going anywhere even if you touch them. A small laugh escaped you.
That's true.
Once you reached the shopping area, the noise level grew exponentially. No longer just waves and footsteps, but the chatter of the people enjoying the lovely summer day, the call of birds trying to find bits of food left behind, and lots of salespeople trying to get attention. You sniffed the air as you walked beside Cove. You could still smell the ocean, but there were other scents now too. Pizza, pretzels, hot donuts.
It was nice.
I like that kind of thing, especially like in a beachside town. I would like this. The energy surrounding the area seemed to fill you, and there was a bounce in your steps as you began looking around at the familiar sights. There were so many things to do. You didn't know where to begin. You looked at Cove, hoping he was just as excited as you were. Cove was glancing from one side of the street to the other with a look in his aquamarine eyes that you couldn't quite work out. What's that? Cove pointed to a large crowd of people gathered near a few tables with large colorful umbrellas blooming from their middles. You couldn't see past the adults who were blocking the way, but you knew there must be something worth seeing. Without another word, the two of you hurried over to see what all the commotion was about. Feast your eyes on the amazing Alexander! In the center of the crowd was a man with a tall hat and a funny green coat that had lots of long tails. There was a little table next to him with a cloth hanging over it that read The Amazing Alexander in glittery golden script. Why tell people his name as if it's already on the sign? Cove hummed with understanding, then turned to walk away just as the amazing Alexander began shuffling a deck of cards. You bit your lip reluctantly, starting to follow after Cove again. You continued looking over your shoulder, however, wanting to see as much as you could before you got too far away. Hey. Not watching where you were going proved a bad idea, as you bumped right into Cove. Yeah, I've done that one a couple of times.
Oh, sorry.
Did you want to stay or something?
If that's okay.
I want to watch the show, but I don't want to watch it alone. Cove, stay with me. I know that we're indifferent about each other, but I'm shy. He briefly lifted his arms up off his sides before returning them to place. You could have said so. With that, it began. The magic man pulled one card out of the deck, showing it to the curious onlookers. It was 4 of diamonds. Watch closely. You did, squeezing through a few of the adult onlookers to get a better view. Suddenly, the man snapped his fingers and the card just disappeared.
Whoa!
He's so unimpressed. The amazing Alexander, who had earned his title, turned his head and looked directly at you. He reached out with a kind smile. What's this behind your ear? Tell me! I know I should have pressed you back away to be shy, but I'm clearly impressed with this performance, okay? This had to be going somewhere and you needed to find out. He smelled like popcorn and candy when he stepped closer. It was great! You felt a tug, and then he pulled the 4 of diamonds out from behind your ear.
What?
You knew it couldn't really have come out of your ear, but you still didn't get how he had done it. There was a light applause from the crowd, and the man gave a deep bow. This is for you! The magician plucked a pair of balloons from a clump of them tied down to this table. Both were in the shape of a dolphin instead of being a normal circle. And one for your friend, too. Thank you for being my assistant.
Wow!
Now you are really grateful he chose you. Uh-oh. Hey. Hey, chat. Hey, chat, can you see me? Just a quick question. Can you guys see me right now? Cause, OBS just, like, completely shut off for a second. Can one of you just, like, come in and tell me if we're still good, if we're still alive? I just need the confirmation real fast. I will, start back up as soon as I get a few confirmations here. Okay, cool. You can hear me, you can see me, everything's alright? Okay. I was a little worried about that for a second, but if you're saying you can see me, then I'm gonna trust you. And we'll continue. Yeah. Okay, cool. OBS just, decided to turn off briefly, I guess. But then it just said also in the same breath that it reconnected, so I guess it was just having a little, having a time. Hopefully it won't do that again. Hopefully that's a one-time thing. Alright, I'll continue with the game then. Cove spoke plainly while reaching over to take a dolphin that had been designated for him. I think that Cove is just ruining my fun, and the card trick was great, actually. Okay, you can hear me too. Alright, that's good. I just looked down in the chat to see that. Alright, then no worries, no worries. You wondered if Cove's whole family was magic! Oh, I didn't actually mean to click that. I was laughing. Okay, I pressed down anyway. Alright, we think Cove is magic. We think him and his entire family is magic, and we're not going back on that. If so, he was lucky. The crowd started to clear some, and you noticed to the side there was a whole rack of brightly colored kaleidoscopes on display. Okay. Out of these things, I do like the kaleidoscopes. I used to love kaleidoscopes when I was younger.
Oh!
You shifted your balloon string to your other hand so you could bring the mysterious tunnel to your eye. A whole palette of colors appeared right in front of you, spinning into all kinds of different shapes as you twisted the end of the tube. Cove picked one up and looked through, twisting the tube at the end. After a second, he set it back on the rack, moving to the other side of the stall. He went under the awning, careful of his own floating dolphin, and you joined him. We said nothing because we have to be anxious and shy at some point since we agreed on that when we started this. You stood in silence for a few moments, waiting for Cove to do something. When he finally moved towards some stalls nearby, you followed behind him. Oh, those are so cute! Oh, I want all of them! Oh, I love that! That's so cute! While Cove looked at the sand pals, you were drawn to a table with colorful keychains laid out on it. They were sewn in the shape of sea creatures, and there was a plaque that read "Handmade," standing proudly in front. Oh, I'd love that! There were lots of different types. You saw a dolphin, a shark, a crab, and a turtle. I'm picking the shark. Maybe that's an obvious answer, but I like sharks. And I think it's the closest to deep sea I'll get. Well, there are deep sea crabs, I think. I'm not gonna hold on to that. I think sharks are cool. Your hand stopped on the shark, a devious smile filled with sharp teeth on its face. You weren't supposed to go near sharks in real life, but there was something about this shark you liked, and the fabric on its back was soft when you picked it up. It's cute. You were instantly enamored. Checking the price though, your heart fell. $6. Yeah, that's way too expensive. $6, man. Okay, chat said turtle. I'm sorry. I chose the shark, okay? You didn't know much about money, but you thought that was a lot to spend on one thing. $6 is huge, man. You really start feeling it when you get older. $6 is way too much. You rarely had more than a $5 bill to your name. Oh no, this game is getting too relatable. Is that what you want? Huh? Oh, it's $6. I didn't bring any money. It's fine. Really? Just straight, I don't want you to give it to me. Really? Cove took the keychain from your hands, and that was that. He was holding a small yellow bucket for himself, too. My dad told me to. That's the only reason. Okay, Cove. You were a little nervous, but happy with your purchase nonetheless. It was nice of Cove's dad to let Cove buy something for you, too. After Cove paid, the two of you stepped out of the store side by side, your balloon dolphins knocking together and spiraling around in the air. You watched Cove hold up his new pail to his face, examining it thoroughly. Hey, Cove! Yeah? The first one would be like giving away stuff. Thanks for getting me it. Okay. Alright, I can see that these conversations are going to be riveting, Cove. We just have such chemistry together. It wasn't clear if he really accepted your thanks or not. What? You were going to thank him for the keychain again, but considering he only did it because his dad told him to, it probably didn't matter. Cove raised an eyebrow, but didn't push the issue. Cove looked further down the street where different food carts were lined up. He rested his non-cast arm over his stomach and just as he did yours, let out a light growl. You hadn't eaten since breakfast, and after all of this wandering around, you were definitely ready for some lunch. Let's get some food.
Yeah.
You two wandered around a short while, looking at all the delicacies that were available. Everything looked delicious, and as different smells, both sweet and salty, wafted over to you, your stomach growled even louder. After passing up hot dogs, snow cones, ice cream, and pizza, you both agreed on pretzels. I like that option, actually. Cove got something sweet and cinnamony, and you... Ooh, I can choose. Cheese. Cheese all the way. You licked your lips hungrily as the vendor handed your pretzel over, ready to take a big bite. Man, when I was a kid, I would get the pretzels and cheese dip all the time. Like, that was my go-to whenever my mom gave me money to get something in the food court. I loved that. It was covered in gooey, melty cheese, just the way you liked it. It seemed odd to get a dessert pretzel before eating normal food. You found an empty table close enough to the beach that the grit of the sand made terrible noises when you dragged the chairs out to sit down. Those balloons are gonna make it hard to eat. Cove placed his bucket on the table, and as he stared at... Wow, I can't speak again. Wow. Okay. Cove placed his bucket on the table as he stared at his still balled-up hand that was wrapped around the string. You opened your mouth to agree before an idea hit you. I know! After carefully placing your pretzel somewhere it wouldn't get sandy, you tugged the balloon dolphin out of Cove's hand and tied it in a delicate bow around his wrist. Oh! Cove bounced his arm up and down in place, testing the stability of your knot. After watching his balloon jostle around but remain attached, he smiled satisfied. Could you help me too? I can't tie it down with my own wrist. He repeated the ritual. Cove struggled somewhat with the cast restricting his fingers on his other hand and a string already tangled around the other. Okay. Got it. The two of you spent a moment admiring your handiwork, both hands now free to allow much munching on your pretzels. Pretzels and cheese are the best ever. I agree. I am definitely agreeing with chat. You bit into the doughy treat, savoring the taste on your tongue with a smile, and you looked over at the ocean. After a time, you finished your pretzel. You were done before Cove. It was boring not having anything to do. You pulled on the string of your balloon to bring it down to your level, then you held the dolphin in your hands, manipulating it to make it look like it was jumping through the air. If you turned to face towards the beach, it almost looked like it was swimming in the waves like a real dolphin. That's cute. A laugh came from your side. When you glanced back at Cove, he had left the remaining part of his pretzel on the wrapper and he was gripping his dolphin too. Oh, we can name our dolphin! Aw! Mine is Sam is just a regular dolphin. We can be an alien, star in movies. Prince of Dolphins. Okay, I like that one. My name is Merryweather. He's the Prince of Dolphins. That is something I would have gone with as a kid.
He wears a crown made of seaweed, and all of his friends are merfolk. Every now and then, he'll make friends with a kid and let them ride on his back.
You sighed, wishing you could meet a real dolphin like Merryweather.
What's yours?
Cove considered the question, placing the balloon against the table and resting his free arm across it in contemplation. It's... With a loud pop, the dolphin exploded into ribbons. Oh. No. Oh. Oh no. That is sad. I feel for you. That was always the worst feeling.
Oh no.
For a second, all Cove did was gape in shock like you. Then his cheeks puffed up, squinting his eyes, and you saw tears start to glisten. Oh no, sweet child! Oh no! Joke about it. I think it's a very sweet moment if we give him the balloon. We give him Merryweather. I think it's very sweet. I think it's very cute, and this is a romance game, so...
You could have my balloon instead, if you want it.
Cove looked over at you, frowning.
I don't want yours.
Okay, Cove. Okay. I thought this would be a nice, sweet moment. I thought we could finally, like, bond over something. But clearly, one of us is putting an effort and the other one isn't. No wonder I feel indifferent towards you, buddy.
Oh.
You felt bad for Cove, but we're secretly glad you really liked the little dolphin and weren't too eager to give it up. Cove spent the rest of the outing sniffling and didn't say much else. The passing of Cove's balloon was the last major event of your adventure. In the end, the two of you headed back late that afternoon. You separated on the beach, and while Cove went straight home with his brand new sand pail in hand, you decided to sit for a while. You watched the waves and the sunset, fiddling with your new keychain. Another summer day was drawing to a close. It had been nice for the most part. Hopefully there wouldn't be any tears next time. All right, now we're going to go to Grown Up. One sweltering... I can speak, I promise. I'm not usually this bad. I'm going to blame the alcohol and not that my speech is bad. All right. One sweltering summer day, you were in your living room with Cove, listening to the sounds of the birds chattering outside the window, while you lay across the rug on the floor. Cove's dad had dropped him off earlier, and your moms had left the two of you alone with Lizzie to play amongst yourselves. It had been too hot to go outside in the afternoon, at least according to Mommy, so your sister was starting to get impatient waiting for her golf class that evening. The three of you had trouble finding something fun to do. The beach and the playground were off limits, and you felt that it was too warm for anything like playing with your fuzzy toy animals. Then suddenly a light came to Lizzie's big brown eyes, and her smile spread wide across her face. Having an idea gave her a new wave of energy.
Since we're stuck inside, we should be adults. Then they don't play outdoors anyway. They're always inside and telling everyone they're too busy to play.
I feel kind of called out here. I feel a little bit called out by that comment, Lizzie. First of all, okay. Why?
Duh.
I said why, and it'll be fun, duh.
What do they do inside that we don't? Besides use the phone a lot. Okay, I also felt called out by that, Cove. Excluding a small huff, Lizzie decides to ignore Cove.
What do you think?
Rain, what do you think? Do you want to?
I don't know.
Please, Rain.
When have I ever had a bad idea? Now I think you have a bad idea. Okay, I say that, but I played pretend all the time as a kid. Like, I think that was like one of my number one things I did, and it was like insane stuff too. Whenever we play with you, Cove.
I wasn't asking you.
I'm just gonna exclude out of here altogether. Sorry, I'm busy. I have, someone's calling me on the phone. I gotta go. Bye! I don't like either of you.
Fine, whatever. Play by yourself. Just don't be loud. Me and Cove will do it ourselves. It's decided.
You're going to play with Cove? Okay. I can't imagine your personality liking playing with him that much, honestly. He looked ahead blankly. I can't imagine his personality liking playing with you, actually. I guess.
Now go on.
Nodding goodbye to the two of them, you trailed off to find something else to do. Like he promised, Cove stayed put with Lizzie for the next couple of hours while you... Oh, I just get to do what I want! Obviously. Okay, no, wait. I was going to say obviously we played Godzilla, but then I saw build a fort as an option. And I gotta give it to that. I think that I would build forts when I was a kid over playing Godzilla. Why don't we play Godzilla and build a fort? It's a fort for Godzilla, you know. Okay, I'm gonna press build a fort. You could hear them talking as you raced to your room to take the pillows and blankets from your bed. When you went back downstairs, you also took a couple of cushions from the sofa and found a spare blanket in the hallway cupboard. The dining room was the perfect place for building a fort. When you pulled out the chairs and covered them with blankets, you had plenty of room beneath the table to do whatever you wanted. You had just scattered the pillows inside the fort to make it more comfortable when you heard Lizzie and Cove's voices again, and this time they were much louder. Curious about what was happening, you craned your neck to hear them better. At first, you mostly only picked up on Lizzie's high-pitched shouting, giving orders, telling Cove what to do, yelling about sports and the Olympics. That was pretty typical Lizzie, so there was nothing new there. But then you started hearing Cove more and more as time went on. It sounded like they weren't having a good time. Oh, I'm so shocked. I am so surprised that they are arguing with each other. Who could have seen this coming? Who would have thought their personalities would have clashed at all? We're staying put. I'm staying out of it. You know, I'm not friends with Cove, and my big sister is dumb. I said it. My big sister is a big dum-dum. And I don't want to hang out with her. I'm really trying to get that sibling energy, you know? You decided to stay where you were. You didn't want to bother them. Maybe they could be having angry-sounding fun. Huh? Angry-sounding fun? That sounds believable. Yeah, you're sure that's what's happening. Decision made, at least with yourself, you turned your attention back to the pillow fort you decided to focus on instead. Look, I don't want to get in the middle of an argument. I am having fun building my fort, staying out of whatever's going on there. I'm indifferent about Cove. I'm not obligated to get in the middle of this, okay? And as established, my sister is dumb. The afternoon passed normally for you, and as the sun sank lower in the sky outside, the heat from the day seemed to cool off too. Are we just skipping this entire chapter? Did we just Are we just skipping this entire chapter? Just nope, I'm not going to bother. You know, I'm enjoying my time alone, away from that. You know? It's nice, actually. I enjoy this. Quiet. Alone. No one around. You hear me, Cove? No one. Okay. You enjoyed your time alone. It gave you a little peace and quiet, and you were able to decide what you wanted to do without worrying about anyone else. It was peaceful and quiet. Besides the yelling in the background, it was peaceful and quiet. I've gotten very good at drowning things out at an early age. I'm not sure if that's the best, but I'm not going to think too hard into that. Suddenly, things erupted for real on the other side of the living room, and this time you couldn't ignore it.
I'm going home! Good! You're terrible!
Tears running down his face, Cove dashed out the front door, slamming it behind him so hard the wood rattled. Mom walked in as soon as Cove ran away. Maybe she heard the door slam.
Oh?
Lizzie, Rain, where's our guest? From the other side of the room, you weren't really in a position to say anything. Still sulking, Lizzie stood up and dusted herself off.
He went home.
Oh.
Already? He was busy. Isn't it time for us to get going already? I don't want to be late.
Right. We better get a move on.
Let's go.
Let's go, kids. Nilani? Nilani, where did you leave the car keys? Mom hustled you all out of the door, and you noticed during the car ride to golf practice that Lizzie was quieter than usual. She was usually the first one to request which music to listen to in the car, but she didn't say a thing. Your parents noticed she wasn't in the mood to be bothered. They gave her space, and Mommy just asked you what you wanted to listen to. You picked your favorite song, made the car ride more fun, you chose a soundtrack from a movie you liked, or you chose music that Lizzie would have liked. As stated earlier, Lizzie is not my problem. I don't even know what happened. I don't know why Lizzie is upset or anything like that. Probably at that age, if I was to pick out, like, music I was listening to, it was, like, the Lizzie McGuire soundtrack. And I'm not saying that just because my sister's named Lizzie. I did listen to the Lizzie McGuire soundtrack quite a bit. So, soundtrack from a movie. Eventually, Lizzie came around and started singing along with you. See? It was fine. That's fine. Lizzie liked the music choice. She acted like she was grown up most of the time, but you knew she liked the movie too. When the car ride was over, you spent the twilight hours watching Lizzie hit things with other girls her age. You didn't know much about golf, but you could tell that she really liked it, so you sat with your moms and tried to puzzle it out. It was nice sitting outside after being cooped up in the house all day, and you stretched out your legs to let the last few minutes of sun warm your skin. When the sun was finally out of sight, dipping behind the horizon, you all got ready to leave. Instead of going straight home, your moms took the family out to dinner. You went to a restaurant you had all been going to ever since you could remember. Thinking about it some more, you had no idea what Lizzie and Cove had really been up to, but you could kind of tell that all this helped Lizzie. You were confident that the next time they saw each other, everything would be like normal. We really did just skip that entire chapter. We just ignored everything. We just said nope, not our problem, and ignored everything in that chapter. All right, next one, long day. I mean, we're indifferent, right? We're indifferent to Cove as a kid. So most of these are really just going to be us going like, not my problem, right? That's just how it is. Not our problem. All right. It was another scorching summer day, the kind where no sooner had you finished one cup of water, you were already filling it up again. Everyone else had something on, so that afternoon it was just you and Shiloh. This didn't happen much, especially since Cove had arrived. Without Lizzie around, Shiloh looked to you for all the answers. It made you feel... nothing, really. Do we care about Shiloh? I think he's adorable, but, like, he kind of doesn't like us. He just likes our sister, who's dumb, as established. Shiloh went along with whatever you wanted, so he wasn't a bother, but he also wasn't that much fun. You drained yet another drink and frowned at the empty vessel. Your thirst was gone, but you still craved something icy cold and refreshing. Something sweet, something like... Oh, this is the question. For me... Chat going, I like Shiloh. Listen, Shiloh is cute. He is an adorable little kid. But also, he just likes our sister. He doesn't even like us. Okay, this is a very important question. The thing is, I didn't really care for popsicles that much as a kid. I ate them because they were sweet and sugary, but I didn't like them that much. I like ice cream. Ice cream is good. But I love ice cream sandwiches. I love ice cream sandwiches. So that's gonna be my choice. Sorry, chat. I don't know if you're saying anything else, but I'm gonna go with ice cream sandwich. Oh, chat agreed with me. Ice cream sandwich. Yes, ice cream sandwich supremacy. Let's go. You craved soft ice cream sandwich between 2 cookies. There was nothing like that to be found at home. You knew that without needing to look. Your moms didn't keep sweets in the house. Outside, there was plenty of places where such goodies could be attained. But there were shops and demanded payment in exchange for their products. Freaking capitalists. If only there was someone that would help pay for me. No. I think I'd be too scared to ask him to pay for me. Sigh. Just sigh really loudly. Make your problems known. As much as you really wanted that treat, it wasn't going to happen.
What's wrong? I want an ice cream sandwich.
Shiloh, who had been draped over the sofa, perked up.
That sounds good.
We don't have any here, and I don't have any money.
Oh, let me check if I have any.
Shiloh rummaged through his backpack and proudly produced an assortment of coins plus 1 stray button. You set the button aside and counted the coins in a neat pile. Just over $1, you announced this to Shiloh. He had almost certainly come to the same conclusion, but he'd been watching you expectantly. It's a start. Shiloh beamed out. That's so cute. He's so cute. His face just lit up. Oh. You give him just like a little bit of affirmation, and he's all just like, yeah!
We'll need to find some more. Okay.
The two of you lifted couch cushions, stuck tiny hands down deep crevices in the sofa and under furniture, and scored the back of drawers. Most of what you found was useless or gross, bent paper clips, fluffy wisps of dust, or sandy crumbs, but every so often one of you would strike silver or bronze and add it to the growing pile of coins. Dusty and disheveled, from checking every room and squinting into every tiny nook, the two of you finished pooling your finds. Shiloh held his breath as you counted the coins once again.
$2.53 and 2 buttons.
They're counting the buttons. That's so cute. You didn't know when the second button had decided to join the party, but you were too pleased with your successful haul to throw it out.
Is that enough?
You figured he knew the answer without looking to you for confirmation, but the thrill of your success and the reward that would follow canceled out each of your feelings you might have about that.
Yeah!
You could now afford something at the shops, just one thing, but that was infinitely better than none. Shiloh clapped his hands.
Yay!
The two of you dashed outside. The promise of sugar buoyed you and your destination, to your destination where, breathless but happy, you stared at the overwhelming number of options. You knew what you wanted, but it wasn't just you who had contributed to the funds to get the treat. He seemed to notice your pause.
Aren't you getting an ice cream sandwich?
Shiloh asked as though he was entirely separate from your decision, rather than someone with a stake in the outcome.
Do you mind?
Shiloh cocked his head to the side.
It was your idea. You should choose.
You tried to get something you both wanted.
Yeah.
It wasn't fair for you to be the only one to decide, when he'd been a main factor in making this happen. Some of the money came directly from his backpack.
What do you like? All of them. They're so good.
You pressed further.
But what do you really like? Popsicles or ice cream? Which is your favorite? Aw, it's so hard to pick. I don't know.
He just likes whatever we like, huh? He's just happy with whatever. He's just chilling, you know? He's just been happy. He's a yes man type guy. He just wants us to be happy. Frustrated, you cut to the heart of the matter.
You want me to choose? Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to make the decision. And that was that. You got the dessert you originally wanted and hoped Shiloh would actually like it too. Finally, the reward for all your hard work was in your hands. You bit in the ice cream sandwich. The chewy chocolate biscuit complemented the cream vanilla ice cream inside.
You can finish it.
Whoops. You held it out to Shiloh so he could take a turn. He shook his head.
You can finish it.
He didn't want any? After everything he did to help get it? That was weird. We hesitate. I would.
It's okay.
It's okay, Rain. You want it more than I do, and I'm really happy that we got to play today already. You should finish it.
Well, it wasn't worth arguing further. The frozen treat was being worn away by the sun and started to trickle dangerously towards your fingers. If you waited much longer, then neither of you would be getting to eat it.
All right, thanks.
The two of you began to head back home as you ate. You offered the treat once more to Shiloh, but he refused again. You walked side by side on the shore in silence, but your thoughts kept drifting to the boy beside you. Why didn't he speak up for himself? It was almost as if Shiloh didn't know how to say what he felt, or was too afraid to. I can just choose not to care, but I kind of feel more invested in Shiloh right now than I do Cove. Yeah, Cove is actually out. Shiloh is the one that we're now, invested in. Are we friends? Shiloh opened his eyes wide, seemingly caught off guard by the blunt question.
Yeah, I think so.
He said that, but friends should be able to talk with each other without being scared. If Shiloh wouldn't do that, were you really even friends at all? He rubbed his hands together nervously over your non-reaction.
I'm sorry.
You weren't sure how sorry he could be without knowing what he's even apologizing for, but you shook your head. You didn't do anything wrong. It was true, Shiloh hadn't done something mean. He'd gone out of his way to make you happy. That didn't seem like it should be a bad thing, yet it bothered you.
I just don't know if you like me. It's like it doesn't really matter what I do. You're gonna act the same. I could be anybody and you wouldn't care. No, I like you. I really, really like you, Rain. I want to be friends. Okay.
You smiled hesitantly at him, and his fidgeting ceased. Even though you weren't sure if you believed him, this was only making things worse. You decided that maybe there were all types of friends. If Shiloh wasn't able to do things differently, this would have to be alright. Shiloh made you unsure about setting a label on the experience of spending the afternoon with just him. There had been good times and there had been confusing ones. You were positive of one thing at least. The treat was delicious, and that was nice. The sun was low in the horizon, and you returned to the neighborhood, where you spotted two very familiar figures up ahead, Lizzie and Cove. Man, those two are spending a lot of time with each other, huh? They must have actually, well, I don't think they got along, actually, in their playtime session, but they must have, they might get along better than I thought. You opened your mouth to make your presence known to them just as you saw the tears on Cove's face. You walked straight over, Shiloh at your heels. I guess maybe they're not getting along, actually. Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe Lizzie and Cove won't get along. You know, it's as I thought. They conflict too much. Okay. Once there, you... Why am I defending Cove? I don't know what happened. Joke about it, accuse Lizzie of causing trouble. Carefully asked what happened. Where's my not getting involved option? Man, I'm supposed to be indifferent. Without a time machine, the only way you were going to find out was by asking the witnesses. Lizzie might have done something, but she could have been in the wrong place at the wrong time, or even come to Cove's aid. You wanted to hear the story. Cove, what happened?
Rain.
Rain, I got yelled at. He took a deep, steadying breath. Some grandparents got mad at me.
Aw.
Aw, sorry.
Lizzie jerked her head in the direction of a nearby house. Your heart sunk. You knew exactly what had happened. Every year, the same mean old couple rented out that condo for the summer. You, Lizzie, and Shiloh knew to stay away from them, but Cove couldn't have. They're like that with everyone. Even your mom struggled to find anything nice to say about them, but the elderly pair particularly took offense to kids. Yeah, Lizzie said. Lizzie drew herself up at that. She looked pointedly at your direction.
Uh-huh, I was helping. That's cool. Is there anything I can do?
No.
No, I'm just gonna stay away.
Or you could teach them a lesson.
Lizzie. Hey. Maybe we don't instigate a fight. Okay, it's a wild concept, I know. But maybe we stay away from the mean elderly couple having their vacation. There was a devilish glint in her eyes. What?
You should ding-dong ditch them. Go ring the doorbell and run. It'll be great because you're so slow.
Because they're so slow. I thought she was saying that he was so slow. It'll be great to watch you fail, Cove.
They'll never catch you.
That's dumb. I don't want to go near them ever again.
You're just saying that because you're a chicken.
Okay, way to instigate things, Lizzie. This is exactly why I don't think you and Cove get along. Cove glared, but didn't take the bait. Lizzie turned to you.
You're not a chicken, are you?
I stay out of things, Lizzie. That's why I don't get in trouble with Mom or Mommy. I stay out of things. I mind my own business. I only injure myself by, like, jumping fences and stuff. But that's physical. You know, I don't need the mental damage of arguments. I drown them out. Just like your voice. Call me what you want. I'm not doing it. You thought they deserved worse. Okay, let's slow down here. Let's slow down, Rain. Let's not do that. You'd rather just avoid them. You looked at the house behind those closed doors. Lurked two beings, rich in years but poor in patience. Maybe they deserved retaliation, maybe they didn't, but that punishment wouldn't be coming from you. It was safer to stay away from them. You could live without the hassle.
I'm not doing it either. Another chicken for the coop. This is a hen house now.
If we're chickens, you're a lizard, Lizzie. She wagged her tongue at his face.
Still better than a bird brain. Chick, chick, chicken.
The condo door opened, revealing one of the two culprits. The old man's wizened face was set in a scowl, which was to say he looked exactly like he always did when you saw him. Maybe that was his normal face. Or maybe he was always just in a terrible mood.
Nothing.
Nothing. He repeated the word as if it was the greatest crime anyone could commit. Nothing good, more like get lost. It wasn't as if he opened the space outside the house, but Cove's eyes, still red from his earlier tears, were wide, and you thought it would be best to heed the old man's commands. Lizzie took off with Shiloh, immediately trailing after her without so much of a glance back in your direction. So much for your friendship. You waved your arm at Cove, summoning him to follow you, and ran after Lizzie. The old man's hollers propelled you all from the street to the sanctuary of the hill. Only once you were safe did you notice the stitch in your chest and ache in your legs. You flopped down, the blades of grass tickling your face. Lizzie, who had taken the lead in the end, was already lazing on the ground. The four of you took a moment to catch your breath and enjoy the feeling of cool grass against your skin.
Hey, Cove.
Cove lifted his head.
I told you they were mean grandparents around here.
Cove rolled his eyes, then decided this wasn't dismissive enough and rolled his whole body away from your sister. Yeah. Oh man. I'm gonna enjoy when Cove and I are actually friends later on. Lizzie chose to ignore his response and started chatting to Shiloh, who eagerly joined in the conversation. In the back of your mind, you knew you'd be second fiddle again to Shiloh. Once Lizzie came around, it was always like that. I told you Shiloh didn't care about us. Shiloh is cute, but he is not interested in us. He only likes our sister. And it was annoying. Why does he like her? What the hell is wrong with me? But you weren't going to make a fuss, especially after everything that's already happened. You closed your eyes, laid on your side, and relaxed. Some time passed with you like that. It felt good to take a real break. You moved onto your back with a small smile and looked at the darkening sky. The blanket of clouds reminded you of a thick throw you curled around on cold, rainy days. You wondered if the clouds would be as soft. They lazily floated on by, splitting from each other, merging and morphing into new shapes. Dolphin. We see dolphins. You saw a dolphin leaping through the sky. You nudged Cove and pointed to it.
Look, a dolphin!
Cove joined you in gazing skywards. Yeah, I see it.
Really?
No, but I like dolphins. Okay, I liked that one, Cove. You get some more points.
Hey.
He chuckled at your reaction. Aww, I can start to see their relationship now. All the sun's light faded from the sky, and the moon rose higher. Lizzie got to her feet, dusting strands of grass from her bare legs, and surveyed her surroundings. The ocean, visible from the crest on the hill, beckoned with every sweep of the tide.
Let's go to the beach!
There was no argument from the other two. Shiloh was still Shiloh, and Cove was never going to say no to the shore. He was a child of the sea. You, obviously want to go there too. It's the beach. I love the beach. It's my thing. So you eagerly joined the others in descending the hill down to the water. You stepped onto the sand for the second time that day, but it felt different at night. The beach was nearly quiet at this hour. Abandoned sandcastles and footsteps in the sand, too big to belong to any of you, were the only indication of how busy it had been in the early hours. The four of you kicked shoes off and removed socks and walked along the water's edge. The waves tickled your feet.
I wonder what happened if you tried to take a bath in the ocean with shampoo and everything.
That would be bad for the fish.
Jeez.
I didn't say anyone would do it. Jeez, you don't have to be so serious about everything.
You're the one who asked what would happen. That is what would happen. You'd hurt the fishes.
I like bubble baths at home. They're a lot of fun.
Shiloh. Shiloh, you sweetheart. Stop trying to engage with him. He's not gonna take it.
Me too. Bubble baths are luxurious.
You had never heard Lizzie use that word before.
Mommy loves to have bubbles in her bath. She'll turn the lights off and have candles. I'm gonna do that next time.
Oh, Lizzie.
Hey, when's your mom coming to pick you up anyway? Not for a while. She's busy.
What about your dad? How come you never talk about him? No one does.
Don't you know you're not supposed to ask someone something like that? Why would somebody want to talk about something they never talk about?
You kept your eyes on the ground, watching your toes get swallowed by the waves. Even if Shiloh never seemed upset when the topic came up, it made you feel awkward just having both of your moms.
It's okay. I'm like Lizzie and Rain. I don't have a dad, but I don't have two moms. I just have one. She's really great.
Oh, sorry. I only have one now, too. My mom isn't here. She's back home. It's just my dad with me.
Sorry.
Aw, I never had a dad or anything, so I don't feel bad. It's really sad that your mom is gone. Cove nodded. Joke about their parents getting together. I think the second one is really sweet, though. I know I said I wasn't gonna get involved, but it's sweet.
Yeah.
Cove couldn't muster a response. You don't think he truly disagreed, though. The silence broke with a splash as Lizzie kicked in your direction. Cold water and sodden sand splattered against your legs. Lizzie giggled, foot still outstretched from the kick. Cove joined in, striking the incoming waves to make a splash of his own. Shiloh scurried out of Cove's spray zone with a grin. Retaliate! War! Fight! You used your foot to smack the water pulling around you, sending an arc of sea foam flying back onto your sister. You laughed as she spluttered. Some of the salty sea water having landed in her mouth, she spat it out.
Yuck!
Lizzie chased you, intent on revenge. You dashed up and down the coast, taking it in turns to be the predator and the prey, as well as joining forces to take down Shiloh or Cove. Alliances were silently forged and wordlessly broken. Everything was fair game in war. Shiloh's brief exclamation was drowned out by the biggest splash yet, caused by him falling face first onto the ground. That would have been bad enough without the wave that followed, cascading over his prone body. Oh, Shiloh! Oh, no. Shiloh sat up, shaking his head like a dog coming in from the rain. As you all hurried over to check on him, his hair was plastered to his head, and his soaked clothes clung. If there was any part of him that was dry, you couldn't see it. That was crazy. Are you alright?
Yeah, my foot got stuck and I fell over.
You Dumbo.
Way to go, Shiloh, you Dumbo.
Offer him help up. Shiloh didn't take your outstretched hand. After a moment, you dropped it. Oh, Shiloh. Lizzie was too busy snickering to notice and held her hand out to Shiloh, too. He reached over and took it. Shiloh! Hey! Your blatant favoritism is getting a little annoying. Slowly, he started to pull himself from the ground. Then he slipped on the slick sand, dragging him and Lizzie down just in time for another wave to hit. The water rolled over them.
Sorry.
What were the odds of that happening twice in a row? You thought they must be low, but there's no way Shiloh would do something like that on purpose, then pretend it was an accident. Especially not to Lizzie. Even if your relationship with Shiloh felt unclear, he did at least like her a lot. Lizzie was his favorite, right? Smiling boldly, Lizzie extracted herself from the ground and wiped a streak of sand from her cheek. She didn't intend to let this embarrass her. Shiloh got up again, as well, this time without incident. He looked like a drowned puppy, but that didn't stop Cove laughing at the two of them. With that, it was time to call it a day. The four of you made the journey back home, leaving a trail of wet footsteps in the sand in your wake. Whoops. Damp clothes may have weighed down some of the group, but your spirits were high. Your arms swung side to side and a cool breeze flowed past. Your moms were outside, chatting to Cove's dad.
We're back!
Your mom's faces fell as they took in the state you were all in, ranging from messy to soaked.
No.
Elizabeth, is that what you have to say for yourself? You brought half the beach back with you. They certainly did. What's Marigold going to do when she comes to get Shiloh? Is that how you want him to be for the long drive home? Cold and filthy? Lizzie's expression turned sulky over the scolding. Being the oldest could be fun, but it also meant she was the first to get in trouble when something went wrong. Mr. Holden, on the other hand, chuckled as he ruffled Cove's matted hair. You've been out making memories, bucko. I'm glad you had a good time with your friends. Cove used his slightly moist cast arm to push his dad off. Mr. Holden's eyes widened when he noticed even that had gotten wet. Now he was worried too. I think they could have found a less risky way to spend time and had just as much fun. Okay. That might be right. Kids, what can you do? Come on, Cove. Let's get you cleaned up and dried off. We wouldn't want that cast to have to be reset. Cove winced at the thought. Okay. Attaboy. Mr. Holden casually bent down and plucked Cove up off the ground, ultimately holding Cove against his chest. Sand was already transferring from Cove onto him, but that didn't seem to bother Mr. Holden. Aw, that's cute, actually. Cove protested being carried, but only got a reassuring pat on the back for his trouble.
Take care.
Good night, Cove. Thank you for the talk, Cliff. Night, Sky family, and Shiloh too.
Fine.
Well, we better do what we can to fix you guys up too. Come on, everybody inside. I don't want you to march up. Wow. I want you to march upstairs. Wow. Okay. You can read a sentence, Angie. You can read a sentence. I want you to march straight to the downstairs bathroom. Yes, Mom. That little.
Okay, Lizzie's mom.
Don't worry about stopping to wipe your feet on the mat this time. That won't do much good tonight. Sitting on the old beach towel your mommy had found, you waited in the hall until you were less sandy, you weren't allowed to go to your room or walk around the house. But you did get to eat a sandwich for dinner there. It felt like an indoor picnic. It had been decided that Shiloh would wash first and borrow some of your clothes. He was already finished and packed away in his mom's car. Miss Fields had come to collect him a little while ago. It was a bit of a funny experience seeing him without that hat on for once. Lizzie, being much more soaked than you, got to go in the tub next. It wasn't a bubble bath as she had hoped. This was a no fun allowed cleanup session, at least that's what she claimed. Hey, how much wine have I had? Hold on now, what are you saying? I haven't had that much, I'm fine. I just am messing up on some of the, you know what, it was the wine actually. I'm not just messing up on the sentences because I'm dumb. Definitely, probably the wine or something. Anyway. Not much longer, and it would be your turn. When the bath was done, you'd have to be right to bed. After a day like this, though, you were glad there weren't going to be any further events. Drifting off to sleep sounded like a great idea. All right, Sandcastle. Cove wasn't able to do many things that summer. When you, him, and Shiloh sat out on the shoreline one bright morning, you could tell he wanted to be in the water. But there was no way he'd be swimming anytime soon, not with his cast. The waves washed a single shell to the shore, glittering and blue, another reminder of the places he couldn't go. From what you'd heard about Cove's old life so far, in tiny pieces and fragments, you could tell that he'd do anything to be able to get that cast off. The possibilities of what he might get up to made you anxious. You thought about how his summer last year might have been totally different from this, with his old home and his mom and dad. But now he was here, with you and Shiloh and Lizzie and everyone else, and he couldn't even go into the sea. That sucks. That sucks a lot. The town wasn't bad. It had all your favorite things in it, but sitting there, on the same beach you'd grown up on, you would understand that not everybody else felt the same way about Sunset Bird as you did. You watched him from the corner of your eye quietly, and he finally said aloud what you had been pondering. I wish I could go in.
The water?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna be able to do it soon.
Cove only sighed in response. Apparently soon wasn't soon enough. It's so pretty, the ocean. Oh, wait, that's not Cove. Hold on. Shiloh voice.
It's so pretty, the ocean.
And huge. There could be anything out there, like mermaids. I like Cove's thought process. Yes, mermaids.
Yeah.
And Shiloh is adorable. Oh, be the not fun child and say mermaids aren't real. No, we're not gonna do that. Let's be nice and say I wish you didn't have a cast. Me too. Obviously not interested in hearing much more of your input on the situation. Cove turned back to the water. Yeah, being indifferent is quite the thing. But as you looked away, something about Shiloh's slow, careful movements caught his eye. Hey, are you building a sandcastle?
Sort of. I was only playing around while you were talking. I'm listening.
Maybe I could too. I've only made big piles before.
It's really nothing special. I'm sure you'll be good at it right away.
Well, how do you do it then? Shiloh's cheeks lit up. You could tell he was a little bit uncomfortable to have Cove's expectant stare at him.
I'll play too.
I love making sand stuff.
Okay.
He put his hands back to his seashells and sand and nodded.
I don't do a lot. Here's how I like to get a house started.
Shiloh focused more intently than you'd ever seen him, guided Cove through his process. You happily use your own method. It didn't take long for the three of you to each have humble structures prepared.
That's all, kind of. You can do anything now. Like, make it bigger, add some seashells, carve a pretty pattern. I bet you'll have a lot of great ideas.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it bigger. Mine is gonna be a real castle.
Cool. This is gonna be a house.
Looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decided to make... Well, I can't do the same as them, so I'm gonna make a mansion. Obviously. Looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decided to design a mansion. The better part of the next hour was spent focusing on your own work. The boys were the same. Even Shiloh didn't sneak as many peeks at everyone else like he usually did. You finished shaping before either of them did, glancing up from what you'd built. It seems that you got done so fast because they already searched around for extra decorations. Shiloh had grabbed most of the really interesting stuff, and Cove had a lot of the shells, but there were still options. The first thing you reached for was a... sea glass!
I'll choose the green piece of sea glass.
It was the best fit for your mansion, you decided. It was see-through and sparkly. So you tucked it away somewhere secure inside, barely poking out to make sure it didn't get lost. Pleased with your result, you finally took a proper look around that wasn't focused on the sand itself. Both Cove and Shiloh seemed super immersed still. You knew you could probably sneak a peek at either one's work. I don't really care. My mansion's cool. I don't care what they're doing. 'Cause again, indifferent. You instead watched some clouds go by. I'm not even working! I'm just looking at the clouds. I really don't care about you two. The silence was then broken. What's on top of yours, Shiloh? You peeked closer and discovered something shiny sticking out of Shiloh's sand chimney.
Oh, it's just a gum wrapper. It looks like smoke.
Neat.
It's good. That's smart. Yeah.
You really know a lot about this.
Shiloh smiled without a word. And that was that for the current topic. Rain, can I see what you did? No. Oh, I mean, sure, I guess. He began surveying your work. All you really knew about mansions was that they were supposed to be big, so you'd gone really big. It was the size of the country club. It was the size of the country club that Lily played golf at, compared to Cove and Shiloh's buildings, probably even bigger. Oh, whoops. Shiloh quickly decided to jump in the new conversation.
Hey, Rain, what did you do? I made a mansion. It looks great. Your house is so big.
Oh, just stare at him. Stare with big, blank eyes.
Uh-huh.
Rain's building wasn't meant to just be a house. Cove gets it. Cove gets it.
Is being a house bad?
No.
No, but we each made our own place. Nobody is the same.
I think we are.
Cove raised an eyebrow at that. If something is only one... Okay, wow. If something is the only one of that thing, that makes it special.
Yeah, for sandcastles and stuff.
People too. My dad always says how everybody is their own man, a real individual.
I don't think I'm very special.
Oh, Shiloh. Shiloh, sweetie. You're special. Look at you. You're adorable.
Why?
Shiloh... There was a Cove thing in there. Why not? Nobody else is you. Shiloh simply shook his head.
I'm not different.
A beat passed between the two. Cove then looked down at his own work again. Okay. Well, you gave up easily on that. He didn't seem to be bothered leaving the disagreement hanging there. Cove had other things on his mind. My dad tried to get me to make sandcastles the first time we came to this beach. I didn't want to. Cove trailed off. Again, there was another moment of silence. Shiloh shifted and opened his mouth to say something, but Cove spoke up before he could. You didn't think he noticed that Shiloh was going to talk. Hey, do you know what happened when your moms met my dad, Rain? You blinked, not expecting the question. You thought hard.
I wasn't there. They didn't tell me. I just remembered what happened when I met your dad.
Mr. Holden had been a weird stranger then. Well, he was still kind of strange. Not other parents acted like him, but you knew him better at this point. Poor Shiloh. Yeah, I agree. Now that you thought about it, it made a lot of sense that Cove's dad talked to him about people being unique. You were pulled from your thoughts when Cove continued. Oh, well, I was there.
I don't think my mom has met your dad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she hasn't. Rain's parents and my dad met the same day I met her. I'm gonna say what happened. He's gonna tell the story now. Shiloh frowned to himself, ducking his head. His hat cast a shadow over his face. You could still tell he was upset not being included in Cove's choice of topic. That was kind of boring for him, though giving people their own turn to say the things they want is important too. I'll just stay silent. I think putting Shiloh on the spot will just make him more uncomfortable. Shiloh could talk about stuff after Cove had a chance to share what he planned on. When we moved here, we didn't bring a lot of things with us, only some stuff that would fit in Dad's car. We didn't even get a moving truck. I sat in there while Dad brought it all inside. I didn't want to get out because I knew Dad would make me look around the new house. I really didn't want to do that. His lips twisted into a frown as he recalled that. Then I saw your moms. They were in a car too and stopped at your house. I guess they were coming back from somewhere or something. My dad noticed. He waved his hand and then went over to the front of your house where he started talking to them. I don't know what they said. I couldn't hear it. But he couldn't see me anymore since he was looking the other way. So I opened the car door and left. I wanted to get away and I went behind the houses. I found some hills there. Those were the ones that we met for the first time. Cove nodded and stared at you. You stared back. He didn't go on to say anything more. Is that it? Cove's brow wrinkled, like he didn't understand why you were surprised.
Huh?
That's all that happened. Okay. The first option is just my reaction. Yeah, that wasn't a very good story. Okay. What is it? What? You said that in a weird way. Did I? Cove narrowed his eyes at you, suspicious. Shiloh's mouth twisted into a scowl of disbelief, but he said nothing. Why'd you bring that up, anyway? There was a slight shrug of Cove's shoulders.
Wow.
I was thinking about it because of the sandcastle. It made me remember when I moved to here. Dad showed me the beach first, before we went back to the car to unpack. He was really excited about it for some reason. Cove's brows furrowed a little bit more as he quietly raked his hands through the sand. I get it. You thought maybe Mr. Holden wasn't that excited about the beach and was instead hoping Cove might be. But the line of conversation had come to its end. Even Cove was done with it. Some other topic had popped into his head. Shiloh fidgeting uncomfortably in the sand had made Cove aware of his presence again. They looked at each other, and you could only wonder what this might be about. Hey, Shiloh.
Yeah?
Why are you always turning so red, even when nothing is happening? Clearly startled, he jerked back. Neither you or Shiloh had expected that to be how he got included in the conversation again.
I don't know, I guess.
Okay. It's kind of weird. Cove, be nice. Is this whole chapter just going to be bully Shiloh? Oh dear. I dropped another thing. Hold on. It's okay. Okay, I saved that one. Okay. I just knocked over my water bottle. It's okay. I got it. Okay. You heard nothing? Nothing happened. Nothing you can prove. Anyways, moving back on. Shiloh's eyes were wide with embarrassment and his lips twisted, and he was blushing even harder than before. Maybe it wasn't only this. Perhaps it was simply the last straw, but it was a big deal to Shiloh, a huge deal. He didn't just look sad, he seemed almost panicked. You weren't sure if he was about to cry or run away or what, but you soon got an answer.
Why did you wear glasses? Most kids don't wear glasses, and nobody is named Cove.
Who asked you to come?
Who asked you to come? It was probably just your dad bugging Rain's family some more, because you don't have anyone else who will ever play with you.
Cove blinked. The tension on the beach was suddenly uncomfortable in a way you didn't know how to even mention. It didn't seem like the kind of thing he'd just get upset over, though you hadn't ever known what kind of thing would bother Shiloh.
I'm sorry.
Me too. I was just wondering. Okay, how do we avoid this one? I'm gonna nervously just look down at the sand. You picked up some sand and turned it over in your hands. There didn't seem to be much you could do to stop the fight, and you weren't sure what to do with yourself. Cove looked over at what you were doing and started building his own set of walls. Shiloh took a breath before kneeling back down to the patch of sand. It seemed they both decided to try playing again. You were glad for that. You all went back to making more sandcastles, but the whole mood had changed. Shiloh's cheeriness was clearly gone, and Cove looked as confused as ever about why the other boy had blown up. The air stayed uncomfortable for the rest of the afternoon, right up to the moment that Shiloh's mom appeared at the beach to take him home. Cove and Shiloh had mostly followed your lead and barely said a word. His mom standing behind him, even Shiloh's goodbye had been quiet. Quiet, friendly, cheerful, but noticeably quiet. But with Shiloh gone and the sun going down, you knew it was time for you and Cove to head to your own houses. You followed him as he made his way out of the sand. The walk home was quiet. You passed by familiar landmarks, shoes thumping against the sidewalk in near perfect unison. Cove was clearly caught up in thinking about something. Nope, don't care. We chose not to care, we're not caring this round. There was no way you could ask, not with that look on his face. Oh, whoops. He decided to say something. But a minute or so later, he spoke up anyway. Hey, Rain? Okay, wow, I am double-clicking all over the place.
What?
Cove fell silent again for a few more seconds, then sighed. Why'd Shiloh act like that? When I said he was all red a lot. Well, you were kind of rude to him today. You probably didn't realize it, though. You don't seem like the type that really realizes when you're being rude. I guess we just tell him outright. No, I wasn't. Yeah, I thought you'd act like that.
It looked like that to me, and it wasn't just saying that one thing. You're not very nice to Shiloh.
I didn't mean it like that. Shiloh's kind of weird to talk to.
See, that's kind of rude.
I guess. I can get it. Why he would do that, sometimes I get really mad too. Despite seemingly coming to a conclusion, Cove's move was still sour. What Shiloh said didn't make sense anyway. Parents always talk to other parents and set up stuff with their kids play together. My dad didn't do anything weird. Yeah. Your dad didn't do anything that would be considered weird, like bribing a child. Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Anyways, you struggled not to make a face at that. His dad definitely did something weird to try and get you to spend time with Cove. Oh, good, we're mentioning that. That's not just a one-time thing. But Cove didn't know that. You know what? Nobody's making me spend time with you, Cove. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Cove's shoulders relaxed. You hadn't even noticed that he had been tensed up. Oh, he does care somewhere. Even though we're apparently indifferent about each other. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Anyway, I know the whole time with Shiloh shouldn't have been saying things like that. You nodded, but you didn't speak. You kept your eyes firmly on the ground. By now, the two of you were on the sidewalk near your houses. It was time to part ways.
Bye, Cove.
Your parents hadn't planned anything else for you, though you knew that you'd see him eventually. Cove nodded, already turning away. Bye, Rain. You made your way to your house at a leisurely pace, going up to the driveway to get to the front door. Before you went inside, you looked back. Cove was halfway to his house, his hands shoved into his pockets. You still felt a little unsure with what you were supposed to do about the deal Cove's dad had offered. Well, I didn't get any money from that deal, so should I really feel guilty about that? You didn't want to say something bad or something you shouldn't. You might change your mind sometime. There was always tomorrow, after all, but for now, it was definitely something that you'd keep to yourself. With a final look, you went inside your house. All right, so, we're about 2 hours and 40 minutes into this stream. And I am trying to debate whether we go for one more. I think we can go for one more story and then call it. This is taking a little longer than I thought it would, but I think one more story so you have the nice 5, and then we call it for the night, and then I will be back to streaming on Tuesday. So that's the plan. I'll do Fireflies, and then we'll call it. Sound good to everyone? All right, I'm gonna get into it.
All right, tonight we're going to catch fireflies.
At this blunt declaration from your sister, you looked up from your macaroni and cheese dinner. Fireflies were a familiar sight over summer, coming out on the warm nights to dance through the sky. Tonight was particularly balmy. You knew that there were bound to be a ton of them around. Oh, you are you? Absolutely. It's fireflies. I mean, Catching fireflies was one of my favorite things when I was a kid. I still love catching fireflies. I think they're really cool, though I never see as many around anymore. Anyway, we're saying yeah. You rocked lightly from side to side in your seat, already excited for your after-dinner activity. Catching fireflies was a great way to spend a summer evening, and you could already envision the little lightning bugs drifting from the darkened sky. Oh, I think I missed something there. Whoops. Nope, I didn't.
That's a good idea, Lizzie. Can we, Miss Guy?
Shiloh tapped his fork against the table excitedly, his face lighting up as he looked at Lizzie. It was unusual for Shiloh to still be here. Like always, his mom had to bring him over really early in the morning before her job started. But normally, she would have picked him up by now. She called before dinner to let your moms know she'd be late. You didn't hear why, probably more work things. You thought maybe getting to hang out with Shiloh for longer is what made Lizzie want to keep running around outside. Staying at home and watching TV was never an option for her with guests over. That's why you were pretty sure she'd get moms to agree. Well, it's already so dark out there. Lizzie gave Mom the best puppy dog eyes she could, slowly spooning mac and cheese into her mouth while you waited for their responses.
There.
Let them go. Nights like this don't happen every day. Your parents exchanged a look, then Mom eventually sighed and nodded back. Yes! Along with Lizzie's cheers, you threw your arms up in triumph, but waited until you'd finished chewing to say anything because you knew it was rude to talk with your mouth full. Aw, good kid. Fine. Just make sure you stay on the hill before our house, behind our house with all the poppies, okay?
Duh, Mom. That's where most of them are.
Whoops. I keep doing that. The idea had only been planted in your head, but already you could just picture all the glowing lights spread out in front of you, like the fairies from the bedtime stories Mommy read sometimes. All too quickly, it became a race to see who could finish their food first. No choking at the dinner table now. That's right. If someone died, we'd have to cancel the Firefly trip after all. Mom said it like a joke, but you knew that they were both telling you kids to slow down. Shiloh did immediately. When you glanced at Lizzie, you saw her still eating faster than she should. Elizabeth!
Jeez.
No one is gonna die. Sheesh.
A knock on the door interrupted Mom before she could no doubt scold your sister.
I'll get it.
Your big sister jumped out of her seat and ran to the door, pulling it open without even looking out the window to see who it was. Huh? You shifted in your seat to try and get a glimpse at the unexpected guest.
Hi.
Good evening, Cove. Your mommy had already walked to the door by the time you had managed to see past Shiloh's flappy hat. Why is Cove here? Is something wrong? He didn't give you any clear acknowledgement, his eyes firmly fixed on the ground in front of him. You shrugged, going back to shoveling a forkful of macaroni in your mouth. Then, for a few seconds, Cove said nothing. He only stood there and looked up at your mommy with a face almost like he was considering turning around and leaving. My dad told me to drop this off, 'cause I guess he borrowed it from you? Cove took a familiar screwdriver from out of his large side pocket, eyes now dropped on the floor. We left ours back when we moved.
Great, thanks, bye.
Okay, Lizzie, calm down a bit. Thank you. Here, why don't you come inside for a bit? Lizzie crossed her arms and lifted her chin. Cove shrugged, and Mob stood from the table too. I'll give your dad a call and let him know you got here all right. Cove shuffled fully inside, eyes remaining on the ground. Mommy closed the door behind him.
Hi, Cove.
Shiloh gave Cove a friendly smile while waving by holding up his hand and opening and closing his fingers. Cove nodded in response. You could come if you want, I guess. Being indifferent to Cove is so weird. I played this before a long time ago, and I did not choose indifferent. I think I was friendly. And it's so different playing as indifferent now. From the corner of your eye, you could see Lizzie glaring at you for mentioning the excursion to an outsider. Trying not to meet her gaze, you looked at Cove. Whatever Lizzie thought of him, he wasn't exactly a stranger anymore. We're gonna catch fireflies out in the hill out back.
Okay.
I want to see them. I've never caught one before. It's too bad he didn't have a chance before now. The fireflies weren't out when he first moved in, and there must not have been any where he used to live. We can't go out until after dinner. After she pointed this out, Lizzie walked back to the table and took her seat. There wasn't much left on her plate. Since this was very true, you decided to finish up your own stuff as well. Cove stepped closer and eyed what was on the menu for your family's meal. Have you eaten yet? Yeah, my dad and I ate earlier.
What did you have?
Eggs. The clipped one-word answer seemed to discourage Shiloh from asking any more questions. His eyes slowly wandered back to the last scraps of food on his plate. Her phone call with Cove's dad must have ended because your mom came back to the room.
Okay.
Cove, your dad said you could stay for a little while if you'd like, but he's going to come get you before it gets too much later. Sure.
Fun.
Oh, fun! This will be nice! As you polished off your meal, you hoped it would be too. The three of you all finished eating shortly after, and Lizzie led the way outside. Remember, don't stray too far!
It's fine, Mom!
Shiloh trailed so closely after Lizzie, he was nearly stepping on her heel. Cove hesitated at the door. You smiled lightly at Cove, gesturing for him to follow. After a moment, he did.
Bye.
Bye, children. The two of you were a good 10 or 15 feet behind Lizzie and Shiloh. By the time you walked outside, you pushed the door shut behind you, watching their figures get further and further away.
You're so slow, Rain! We don't have all night!
You started to run when you heard Lizzie's voice calling you, but paused when you saw Cove walking at a relaxed pace. Don't care. We ran. I swear this is a romance game eventually, but we're children and decided we didn't care about Cove. You needed a head start if you were going to catch more fireflies than Lizzie tonight. With your shoes slapping against the pavement beneath you, you hurried to catch up to the others. If Cove wanted to join in with you all, he'd show up sooner or later. A grin broke across your face as you raced up the hill to join Lizzie and Shiloh, admiring the fireflies that bobbed around like buoys on a wave in the delicate moonlight. There was barely any wind, which made it perfect for a little lightning bugs to be out exploring the big, wide world.
Where's Cove? He's coming.
You pointed behind. Sure enough, after a second, Cove rounded the corner, still not in any sort of rush. Wow. Shiloh took a moment to come over and welcome the both of you on the hill.
Hi, guys. It's really great out, huh? See how many there are?
Yeah. A firefly danced through the air, landing on Cove's sea-green hand. Sea-green hair, not hand. I had to pause there for a second. Like, wait, what? We can both giggle. That's cute. I get to control Shiloh for a second. Covering your mouth with a hand, the sound escaped you, and Cove looked at you in confusion. What? You gestured to his head, and he reached up, making the firefly dart away. Cove jumped, then followed after the glow. That's cute.
Oh, look! Lizzie has one! That's amazing!
Shiloh ran to the highest point of the hill, making sure not to lose his hat or backpack along the way. You hummed as the group divided and conquered, shifting your gaze to the dozens of other fireflies sailing around. The game was on. Oh. Okay, well, we definitely have injuries. We had 2 bandages on our hand, and you tried to be cautious of that. Because we're clumsy. We have a ton of scars. Spotting one close by, you approached it with assassin-like stealth, crouching down to make yourself seem like less of a threat. Slowly dragging one foot in front of the other, you crept up towards it, arms outstretched. You closed your hands around the little glowing orb, careful not to crush it. The firefly landed on your palm, almost docile, as you stared down at the prize in delight. Its tiny legs tickled your skin, and you giggled at the sensation. Cove kept up with his own target, but when he tried to grab it in his pink cast waved awkwardly through the air, foiling his efforts to clap his hands around the firefly. Ugh. Cove watched it vanish in thin air with a dissatisfied expression on his face. Okay. I know that I've been pretty, dismissive of Cove in, the past, little thing, but I'm going to, actually encourage him here. You walked up beside him and gave him an encouraging smile. Cove didn't say anything, and you thought he must be upset. He walked further up the hill to continue his hunt, and you let your own firefly flutter back into the air. That was fine. You had your own plans. Okay, Cove. Fine. See if I care. I try to be nice, and he just walks away. This is why I don't bother. This is why we can't be friends, Cove. Yes, I'm collecting more. With renewed vigor, you ran out into the hill. You're not sure how much time passed while you were out in the thick of it. All you could focus on was the adventure at hand. No critter was safe from your grasp. At first, you tried to keep a tally of how many you had caught, but once the number grew higher than 10, you had no more fingers left to count with. You were having the time of your life, racing up and down the hill with the crash of the ocean and the sound of everyone's laughter echoing in the background. Eventually, the fireflies began to thin out and your energy started to lapse. You decided it was time to call off the hunt.
Come on!
Rain! Cove! Get up here! We're going to have a race!
The shouting caught you off guard. It had been quite a while since you heard from Lizzie or Shiloh. You glanced around to see them both standing at the top of the hill again, Lizzie beckoning to you with the quick hand gestures. If she was like that, you knew there wasn't much room for disagreement. Up the incline you went. From the corner of your eyes, you saw Cove was also coming as well. He didn't care for Lizzie a lot, so you thought he might be intrigued just by the idea of a race.
Hi!
Go!
Hey, Cove, you can't roll down the hill. You could hurt your arm again. You'll be the referee for the rest of us.
As Lizzie pointed this out, Cove froze in place. Oh, it was that kind of race. He frowned down at his cast. That was the second time it had gotten the way tonight. What?
Yeah, you'll get to watch and see who gets to the bottom first. That's important, got it?
I guess. The cast was sturdy. If he was careful, he could have done it. Lizzie might have been looking for a reason to make someone the referee, but it was already decided. I'll race. I'm gonna race. I'm reckless. I may be shy, but I'm also reckless. Satisfied with this, Lizzie moved to lay down. And Shiloh did the same. Cove stood slightly off to the side to get a better vantage point. It seemed like he was taking his newfound referee duty seriously. That's cute.
Countdown!
You quickly got into position as well, resting on the side in the grass and tucking your arms close to your chest. 3, 2, 1, go! The three of you took off, letting gravity do the work and rolling down the hills at high speeds towards the bottom. You squeezed your eyes shut, a delighted laugh leaving you, and consequently, allowing the few blades of grass to get into your mouth. You sputtered, reaching up to wipe them away. It threw up your balance and sent you careening sideways.
Oof!
Ah! Everyone started too close together because the slight turn made you, then Shiloh, and then Lizzie collapse into a heap. You tumbled down the last few feet in a pile. Shiloh's elbow was in your stomach, and you were pretty sure Lizzie's hair was in your mouth, but you had survived. Perhaps it wouldn't have been safe for Cove after all. That's so cute. That's such a cute image. Yeah, I agree. I love rolling down hills. It's so cute. You could hear him laughing in the distance. When you opened your eyes, you saw the starry sky above, and Cove still in the top of the hills, staring down at the three of you with an amused look on his face. Hey, cool crash! I think Shiloh was the first one to the bottom.
That didn't count. We need a redo.
Kids, it's time to come in.
No.
You sighed, not knowing if it was from the contentment or exasperation, and closed your eyes again. It had gotten late and was beginning to feel just a bit chilly as you made your way out of the hills, but the cold in the air hadn't dampened anyone's spirits. The four of you walked back home together side by side down your neighborhood streets, discussing the evening, with each person trying to prove that they were the one who caught the most fireflies. You knew that whoever really did catch the most didn't matter much anyway. All that mattered was that all of you had a good time, which, judging by the smiles on everyone's faces, you did. That was a sweet one to end it on. For once, no one was sad when we ended it. It was a happy story altogether. Alright guys, I am going to end the video here. My throat is really sore from reading all that. I will be doing another stream on Tuesday. I'm still debating on the time, but it'll probably be the same time that this stream came out. I had a lot of fun today. This was a fun game. If you liked this video, then be sure to like, leave a comment, all of that stuff. If you didn't like it, well, don't come back. Anyway, I'm kidding. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next stream. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This was my first time streaming, so it was a little nerve-wracking, but it ended up being a lot of fun altogether. I will see you guys Tuesday. All right. Love you lots. See you then. Bye-bye, everyone.